It's karma. It's karma. Karma's got a thing for me. We hold hands, make plans, keep the receipts. Karma, she's my best friend. One step closer, here's how it ends. Karma's got a thing for me. You'll see, you'll be digging up 6 feet. Karma's never let me down. A smile will kill when I cut you out. Snip, snip, cutting your bullshit with a plot twist. Don't waste my time, I don't do toxic. I see you looking at me like she's so sweet. She's so nice, I can do what I like, right? Did I make you cry? I forgot that you're a you are, you know what you are, you're a baby, little baby. You are, now you got hurt 'cause you made me. Yeah, you know what you are, you're a baby, little baby, little baby. You are, only got hurt 'cause you made me bored. It's karma. It's karma. It's karma. Snip, 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 snip. I'm so bored.
Oh, I don't mind a little rain on my suit. A little bit of angry makes you cute. And we've been watching this show so long, but it feels like everything that we've grown went back into the pen we used. It won't take long, even when I'm without you, when I'm without you, babe. So listen up and play along. And that's how time flies, like we on a different timeline. Tell me that you're here and feeling down for anything. Oh, I'm down for anything. This fine line that we keep on walking all night. Tell me that you're here and feeling down for anything. Oh, I'm down for anything. Down, 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 if we can keep it. Down, 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 if we can keep it. Down, down, down. Oh, I'm down for anything. Down, 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 if we can keep it. Down, 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 if we can keep it. Down, down, down. Ooh, I'm down for anything. Yeah, we can make a mess inside this booth. You're taking me to places old and new. Sweetest song than our favorite song. And it feels like every time that it comes on, we just roll on till the day's done and the lights gone. And it won't take long, even when I'm without you, when I'm without you, babe. So listen up and play along, yeah. And that's how time flies, like we on a different timeline. Tell me that you're here and feeling down for anything. Oh, I'm down for anything. This fine line that we keep on walking all night. Tell me that you're here and feeling down for anything. Oh, I'm down for anything. Down, 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 if we can keep it. Down, 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 if we can keep it. Down, down, down. Oh, I'm down for anything. Down, 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 if we can keep it. Down, 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 if we can keep it. Down, down, down. Oh, I'm down for anything. For anything. For anything. For anything.
You said that you've been lonely, makes you cold as ice. Hard to get to know me, but better than the lies. No way I'd let you slip by. No way I'd let you say bye. You said there ain't no reason, but I'll sit here every day, waiting for the moment I won't feel like I should stay. No way I'd let you slip by. No way I'd let trying to be patient, but running out of time. No way I'd let you slip by. No way I'd let you say bye. You said there ain't no meaning, I just wanna understand everything that led us here, the teardrops when I hold your hand. No way I'd let you slip by. No way I'd let you say bye. Can we watch it fade, fade away? Can we let it fade, fade away? We'll take it day by day. Can we watch it fade, fade away?
Sometimes you feel weak. The fear you carry inside wakes you up. The overplaying pattern of memory hides your true face. Take your own method, looking for the one who's trying to be perfect, yeah. You'll try to match it, don't be sad if you don't make it. You hope for wonders, living life means making blunders. It can make you shatter, you will try to fight the thunder. Trust me no matter what happens, because I will stay by your side in your heart. Whatever happens, remember that you can do anything you want. You can do anything you want. Follow the light if you're not sure. Listen to your gut. The right path will come when the time is right. Take your own method, looking for the one who's trying to be perfect, yeah. You will try to match it, don't be sad if you don't make it. You hope for wonders, living life means making blunders. It can make you shatter, you will try to fight the thunder. Trust me no matter what happens, because I will stay by your side in your heart. Whatever happens, remember that you can do anything you want. You can do anything you want. You can do anything you want.
I've been in and out my mind since I hit your phone. I've been counting up the times that I did you wrong. I just want you by my side when I get real gone. Feel it's been a little while since we got along, yeah. We've been playing stupid games, the situation rotates. And they say communication, safe relations, okay. Medicated how I'm patient, wasting time ain't the way. Cause I can see it on your face. I've been tossing, turning, staying up all night long. I've been calling, yearning, wondering what I did wrong. I could tell by your eyes you got something to hide. So open your mind up, let me inside, and let's make it right. Tell me, baby, what's the problem? Cause I keep trying to figure it out. Oh no, oh no. Tell me, baby, what's the problem? I'm only picking up what you're putting down. You'll be tripping, I don't know what about. So what's the problem right now? Okay, now hold up. Let me get something right off my chest. I've been meaning to read into it, time to put it to rest. Is it stress? Is it that I ain't answer your text? Don't you treat it like amnesia, you know I always forget. Stirring the pot real hot, watch how the plot thickens. Around the clock, tick tock, need more than 20 seconds to get your attention before it's on to the next thing. And I'm over here again wondering, can I hold ya, hear your truth, pull you closer, talk it through?
Girl, you know that I'm the one that you can come and complain to. Your silhouette's amazing, but your brain is a maze too.
So can you help me find my way while I find something to say?
I know the arguing just augments everything going both ways, but baby, I can see it on your face.
I've been tossing, turning, staying up all night long. I've been calling, yearning, wondering what I did wrong. I could tell by your eyes you got something to hide. So open your mind up, let me inside, and let's make it right. Tell me, baby, what's the problem? Cause I keep trying to figure it out. Oh no, oh no. Tell me, baby, what's the problem? I'm only picking up what you're putting down. You'll be tripping, I don't know what about. So what's the problem right now?
No, don't think he ever really knew me. I have run quite a distance, so in some ways I'm truly different. In some way I kept my soul. I got time if you want me to freeze up. I'm new now, I found the flow. I'ma need you to keep up, not slowing down anymore.
What you want, don't ever call me a side. You know what I want, girl, I'm tryna make you mine. Hey, yo, excuse me, please don't confuse me. Liquid in my cup, I keep it juicy, juicy.
I used to be like that way back then. I was way back then. I had bricks back then. I'm on the hip in case the obstacle was. My homie Tommy always had the hook up. You
Me what you want, don't ever call me a side. You know what I want, girl, I'm tryna make you mine. Hey, yo, excuse me, please don't confuse me. Liquid in my cup, I keep it juicy, juicy.
I used to be like that way back then. I was way back then. I had bricks back then. I'm on the hip in case the obstacle was. Tommy always had the
Oh, don't think he ever really knew me. I run quite a distance, so in some ways I'm truly different. In some ways I kept my soul. Don't think he ever really knew me. I run quite a distance, so in some ways I'm truly different. In some ways I kept my soul. He ever really knew me. He ever really knew me. No, don't think he ever really knew me. I have run quite a distance, so in some ways I'm truly different. In some way I kept my soul. I got time if you want me to freeze up. I'm new now, I found the flow. I'ma need you to keep up, not slowing down anymore.
What you want, don't ever call me a side. You know what I want, girl, I'm tryna make you mine. Hey, yo, excuse me, please don't confuse me. Liquid in my cup, I keep it juicy, juicy.
I used to be like that
Everything you want, but you can't have. Number one regret, no take backs. The hole in your chest, that's payback. Payback.
Good evening, folks. Welcome back to EML Challenger Series Group Plays. We're on round number 2 now, day number 2. If you're just joining us for the first time, well, let's have a bit of a recap of how things looked yesterday. Because, of course, yesterday it was quite a spicy day there. There were, I'd say, a good amount of upsets, good amount of expectations, as well as just a general all-around great day of Siege. So, let's take a look at the bracket here for you all. Oh, there you go. There we go. That looks better. Perfect. There you go. Let's zoom that in a little bit. Beforehand. There we are. And there we are. Right, beautiful. So, this is yesterday's bracket. If you weren't here yesterday, we had an absolute banger of a game between Honvéd and M&M Academy yesterday. It was an absolutely great game. It was a phenomenal game to watch. All the way to 3 maps. Required us to go to overtime on the third and final map of Consulate. That, of course, being this game here. Third and final map. Had to go all the way into overtime to settle that one. It was an absolute banger. Do go and watch that one. If Twitch VODs on my channel, if you get a chance to, do go and watch that if you get the opportunity to. It was a banger of a series. I do recommend going and giving that one a watch should you get the chance to. Of course, M&M Academy will now find themselves down here in the lower bracket. If you're new here to our EML League, we are in a system of Swiss stages. So the winners from yesterday are up here in the top. You can't see my mouse, so that doesn't make it very helpful, does it? Doing stuff. There you go, you can see my mouse now. So the winners from yesterday can now play up against today, all playing each other, and all of the losers from today are playing each other as well. The winners from the upper bracket will be going here for a chance to qualify. Losers from the upper bracket will be going into the mid bit. Winners from lower will be going into mid. Losers from the losers going down below even further to the point where you get to these low points here. You're at the risk of elimination. Because the goal of Swiss stage, to simplify it down, because explaining the whole of Swiss is a process will be here too long. Winners play winners, losers play losers. You've got to win 3 games before you lose 3 games. If you lose 3 games and you've not won 3 of them, bye-bye, you're out. So if you get to round 5 here at the end and you've not won 3 and you don't win that final 5th game, you will have lost 3-1-2. You're eliminated. You're done. 8 teams go on towards our playoff stage in just a couple of weeks. I believe at the end of the month, that one's coming. So it's going to be a very spicy time for all of these teams. And of course, as you can imagine, it's very, very exciting. So, Dello, how is it going this evening? And yes, also, as you might have noticed, we don't have a delay here tonight, actually. We've got phenomenal. Rennie has very kindly agreed to observe for me tonight, so she's been a massive favour for us here. So please do go give Remy a follow. I just dropped her link in the chat, so go give her a shout, go give her a follow. It's massively appreciated. It makes life so much easier having my hands free, and also means I don't have the delay on, so I can have a conversation, we can have a talk, we can chat, can sit here, relax, chill, whatever. Of course, we've got quite a little bit of time till the game starts, so let's have a bit of a rundown of things here. Obviously, I know not everyone will have been here yesterday. It was a Thursday evening after all, and obviously now as we head towards Friday, towards the weekend, hopefully more and more people will be coming in saying hi and watching the games, because in all fairness, there's a lot going on here of schedule over the next couple of days here. So this is the overall EML League schedule for Challenger Series. As you can see, yesterday's was playday number 1. Today, playday number 2. Got 1 game on our hands. Tomorrow's Saturday. It doesn't say it on the graphic, but one thing I do want to make you all aware of is tomorrow we've got 2 best of 3s. We're playing 2 rounds out tomorrow. So very exciting time for tomorrow, because not only will we be saying goodbye to our first team and promoting our first team in towards that playoffs bracket, we also are going to be doing it twice in one day. So 2 elimination games, 2 sets of elimination games, 2 sets of promotion games as well, rather. Really, really exciting stuff for tomorrow, of course. And then on Sunday as well, we've got the 5th and final round of our bracket, which of course you'll be able to use to see how all of these teams are getting on, and obviously the remaining sort of last few teams, really. That's what's going to be going on for them. Obviously, round number 5 over there on Sunday, sorry. That's going to be really, really scary. That is going to be a difficult. Because you've got to win that game, or otherwise you are done for the competition. So, scary times. Really scary times. So, let's dial it back a little bit. Let's refer ourselves on to what we've got going onwards today. Of course, we still have all 16 teams who were originally in the competition still remaining. Of course, no one's been eliminated just yet. This is an overview of all the teams we've got in the competition. I'm sure many of you will recognise a lot of these names, a lot of these orgs. EK, Wild, Matchco, Onyx Ravens as well in there. Super Noob now Twisted Minds. So there's a plenty of teams and players as well in and amongst them you're going to recognise throughout these entire qualifiers. So have a look around it. Of course, there it says how they've qualified directly through. Now, I'm going to be looking at the two teams we're going to be casting today. That is, of course, Honvéd in the top right corner and then Good Intentions first team on the second row. Now, that order of the open qualifier teams, that is based on seeding. So, whereas yesterday, Honvéd played M&M Academy. It came really, really close. M&M Academy down there, but they would have 9th seed coming out of the open qualifiers. Our 4 weeks of action, craziness in the open quals. Now, Honvéd, they've got a tougher opponent line for them. That typically is how the Swiss system works as a whole. As you play through it, you tend to get tougher opponents and tougher games because obviously winners are playing winners. So all the teams that are performing really, really well will bunch up together. The teams that aren't performing so well get bunched up separately. So tend to get tougher games going on. And Honvéd are definitely going to be finding some of that one today. Of course, as you can imagine, for them, they are going to be going up against our first seeded team for open qualifiers. That, of course, being Good Intentions. So there's going to be a lot of a harder game awaiting Honvéd today. And don't get me wrong, they had a phenomenal showing yesterday. A couple of rocky attacks on bank, especially, I think, was the sort of the main problem area there. That bank was not great on the attack, in all honesty. It was a little bit worrying. I was a little bit concerned for them. But it didn't really matter because in the end, you know what, they made it work. So we're now sitting here with Honvéd today, and they're going to be going up, obviously, against Good Intentions. Now, Good Intentions, a great side, obviously a great side. They're top, their highest qualifying team out of our open qualifiers. So they're a really great side, really, really strong side, and hopefully going to be proving it to be quite an exciting game. And fingers crossed. Who's my money on? Oh, Taylor, that's a great question. I think I want to see the map veto first. I am just waiting for that one through. You can't tell I'm stalling ever so slightly because the map veto has only just been created. So we've not quite got the map veto through yet. Listen, Honvéd, they looked quite good on Consulate yesterday. They looked really comfortable on Chalet. And I'll be honest, I don't know Good Intentions well enough to get a good read on their map veto. I just know sort of roughly where Honvéd like to play, where they're a little bit stronger. So if Honvéd can get a good maps going, if they can get Chalet in there again, if they can get Consulate in there again even, and, I wouldn't say count them out on Bank either. They had a really great defensive showing on Bank. It was just that attacking side that really let them down. So they may have gone away, done some work on that. I think Honvéd definitely have what it takes, but of course, Good Intentions, they're a much, obviously, based on qualifier placements rather, they're a much tougher opponent. And of course, that makes it a lot of a harder game ahead of you. You've got a real difficult one. Of course, it's a best of 3, so you've got plenty of maps to go through here. You've got a full series of matches of games and stuff to sort of go through. So it's really, really exciting to see here. And of course, one thing as well, speaking of all of the other games, we have all of these other games going on. And we've got another set of 8 games going on today and 8 games going on early tomorrow as well. Then we jump down to 6. I don't believe there's quite as many community casters going on today. I'm just going to quickly make you all aware of all of the streams that are going on. If you give me 2 seconds, I'll read them all out to you. I don't have the link. We'll have a post for everyone on it. All of the Italians, so that's Uragan, Rainbow Six, Italy community, and Raki, they're all covering the Les Galerians Matchco game. P45 Twisted Minds, that is on the official stream, twitch.tv Rainbow Six NEU. Obviously, Honvéd Good Intentions, that's here, that's me. Hi. We have Wild versus Onyx Ravens, that's going on Andre Sherlock stream. Blanciti Ratifi versus GK, that's over on Ifnabi's stream. And finally, Go Next versus Fan de Puco, that is over on E6 France's stream. I believe Pengu is floating around as well, just hopping in between different games, last I heard. Passion versus Myth and Wisteria M&M Academy. So these 2 games down here. These ones, unfortunately, don't have a community caster on them, at least that I'm aware of, that are in the message. But don't hold me to that. It may be slightly changed. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But there's plenty of great games here, of course. In terms of expectations, quickly, you know what? Let's do some... If I screenshot this very quickly, let's open up Paint and have a bit of a run through and see. Let's open up a bit of Paint. Professional editing software, only the highest quality on this stream here. There we go. Right, so what are we thinking for this bracket? This is the important question here. So I reckon Les Galerians Matchco. Now this one, there's so many teams. There's so many casters on that one. I didn't want to cover that one, but to me, this is probably... that is probably the most exciting of the games. Obviously, Matchco, they're one of the teams that I think a lot of people are looking to do very well, especially guaranteed players. Will Honvéd be streamed? Good news, X2pop, you're in the right place. Honvéd will be streamed as soon as that game is ready to go. It will be here on this channel. You're in the right spot. Vito's just starting, so we just wait for the last few players to ready up on challenger mode. Vito will start, and then we're going to get into the game. Look at that. Vito has just been set through. No, it hasn't been cancelled. We will get there. Point is, we will get there. So give it 10, 15 minutes or so. Come back. We will be here with the game. Obviously, there's a 4-minute delay from the game actually starting. The observer. So that way I can be here live. So you're in the right place. Anyway, back onto topic. So obviously, Les Galerians and Match. I think that's going to be the exciting one tonight. Really, if there's one game to watch, not to shoot down this game at all, but if there's one game to watch tonight, it's definitely going to be this one up here. Les Galerians Match. Keep an eye on it. Honestly, I don't know. I reckon Matchco just from being around longer, and that's colour. There you go. So I reckon Matchco take that 1-2-1. That's my impression for tomorrow. Matchco have looked insanely good. I think the little hurdle they had in Malta, of course, I was there. Cut a long story short, I think pressure from the crowd. Obviously, Nemesis really got in their heads as well. But it got them a little bit, I think, and that kind of I think realising how important the mental game is, I think that's probably what they took a lot from that competition. So if you ask me, I think they've come back with a lot of vengeance and a lot stronger. Now, Twisted Minds, P45, Twisted Minds is, of course, Super Noobs. So, and Super Noobs is the X-Falcons. So, in my mind, Super Noobs, they're X-Falcons. They should be one of the, realistically, they should be one of the teams, especially now they've got that organisational backing again. Obviously, it's not to the extent that the Falcons provided, likely, but they've got that organisational backing yet again. Twisted Minds, I think they should be quite comfortable going all the way through in these qualifiers. I wouldn't be surprised to see them up here in the round 3 high bracket tomorrow. This game here, obviously the game we're covering on the stream. Now, that one, or TBC, I reckon that is going to be I reckon we're going to go to 3. I don't want to say anything because every time I've spoken about a game I'm casting, it's either gone horribly wrong or just gone in the exact opposite way. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to hit it with that with a question mark, and you know what, we can watch it out. Wild Onyx Ravens. That one is going to be a banger. That's going to be quite an exciting one, I think. Who's going to be winning that one? Well, it's obviously a lot of 2 very strong sides. Yet again, I think this one will be another 3 mapper. Just looking at sort of who played obviously yesterday as well. Obviously, Wild played DK, really strong opponent DK. Onyx Ravens did 2-0 Myth as well. So this one, yet again, I know it sounds like I'm saying the same stuff and repeat here, but it's a free. I think this one's a free mapper as well. And I reckon, you know, I'm gonna put money on the Ravens. I reckon the Ravens just edge it out. But this one definitely could be going either way. Now, down here in the lower bracket, DK, Bland City, Retifi. Now, I think DK have what it takes. Obviously, they're a bit of a newer composition of a roster. I do think they have what it takes. Of course, Bland City, Retifi yesterday didn't have the best of days, got 2-0 by P45. So for that sort of reason alone, just looking from the outside, obviously, I haven't watched all of these games, so can't comment on every single one exactly because I don't think if I would have watched every single game, there would have been enough time for me to sleep in between yesterday and today. So we had to, of course, go for this one. So obviously, Les Galerians got 2-0 next yesterday. That is not really much of a surprise. Obviously, Les Galerians are such a strong side. But next, they're also a really formidable roster in themselves. And I think Bandit Puko, they're going to be a great opponent. This one, I'll be honest, I don't really know for this one. So I reckon we're going to be sitting. I'm going to chicken out yet again and leave that one with a question mark on it because I don't actually know what's going to happen with that one. And similar things here with Passion versus Myth. Who is on the Passion roster? That is Jub Single, and then Myth. Obviously, they've had some reshuffles: Fanu, Delay, Swazi, Choco, and Demantis. So, some really great players. I think Myth have what it takes there. Obviously, Passion as well. I think they could obviously. I know it was 2-0 yesterday, but it was match. So, and then we look towards the lower bracket. M&M Academy versus, it says Ryujin / Wisteria on there. I think M&M Academy have what it takes. They put on a really good show for us yesterday, so I reckon M&M Academy 2-1 that game. So, I'm going to screenshot these, put them in a Discord server somewhere, because these predictions are going to be horribly wrong come the end of the night. And yeah, we can laugh a bit later on. These predictions are definitely going to be ever so slightly, quite possibly, wrong. Speaking of wrong, well, maybe not wrong. I'm just going to throw it to the camera here quickly while I shuffle my screen back around. I'm not actually drop a link to the feed anywhere, because that would be a good thing to do that. However, what I do have for you all is I do have some maps for you all to be watching on, keeping an eye on. So, without further ado, there we go, cool. Right, pop that up there, and let's have a look at this map, Vito, shall we? Hey, welcome to it. Here we go. So the map, Vito, you know, start from the top. Lair has been banned out by Honvéd, Border banned out by Good Intentions, Skyscraper banned out, Clubhouse banned out, Nighthaven Labs is our first map pick there. An interesting one indeed. Really interesting. I'm curious to see. I mean, you know what? I love a Nighthaven Labs. Slight spoiler alert here. Labs may be my ever so slight favourite in this entire. Labs may be my favourite in this game. So, I'm focus on typing. Do the graphic at the same time. Honvéd and Good Intentions. Defense, fine. Good Intentions. So Good Intentions is going to be picking over towards the Cafe Dostoevsky. That one, well, that map. The different maps. This is the curious part. This is the really interesting part for me here. They're different maps to what we saw from Honvéd yesterday. And the final map, Chalet, that's a really strong map. If you're an Honvéd fan, I'm glad to see that. You'll be glad probably quite as well after yesterday's results, how strong their Chalet did look yesterday. I'm very glad to see that one come all the way through. I think it's a great map for Honvéd. Obviously, you have to wait and see how exactly Good Intentions look on it. But anything like the last few maps, anything like I've heard from them, a lot of people do like Honvéd is a 2-2 side. If you give me 2 seconds, I'm going to pop the cast graphic up on the screen for you. This is, I believe this is Technica on a Technica. I believe this is Tinu Play now in of its entirety. So there we go. And what I can do for you now is there we go. I can throw up the map V04 today. So there we go. Updated the graphics. Wondering why I haven't been talking properly. This is why. Because I've been trying to focus on quickly popping in the information for this graphic. So, obviously, Honvéd, I would definitely class them as definitely towards the T2 side. They're all Hungarian players. Obviously, a lot of them you may recognise. Obviously, Dodo you'll recognise from playing in Wild over the last year, Joker as well. So there's a lot of really great talent on that side. Definitely put them up there. Tier 2. I mean, this is... Am I wrong in thinking this is a Tier 2 competition? I should really know this information. It sounds really bad of me not to know this information. But I'm 95% sure this is classed as a Tier 2 competition. So I don't know this information off the top of my head. But I don't. Obviously. So it will indeed be, obviously, as a Tier 2 competition, great side. Who do I want to see win? Well, obviously, if you're unaware, the prize, of course, for this competition is, of course, obviously 8 teams will go from this Swiss stage playoffs. The top 2 teams in playoffs. Obviously, there's a €50,000 prize pool. We can't put €50,000 prize pool. That's wrong. But in terms of who actually wins the whole thing out, my heart is split because top 2 teams, so the teams who enter our grand final of our playoffs in a couple weeks' time, not only do they get themselves the spot, get themselves the largest share of the prize pool, rather, they get themselves spots in the Europe Meta League next year. So they get themselves spots in Tier 1, which any of these teams is absolutely huge. Obviously, if you know the Siege scene, you'll know how much of a performance sort of boost that's going to be, because that guarantees your spot in T1 all year long, I do believe, which obviously massive benefit for each of these teams, whoever's going to get there. Obviously, I think there'll be teams with expectations. Obviously, on the graphic, it's a bit outdated, but Super Noobs, X-Falcons, now Twisted Minds, I think they're quite a safe bet. They're a very safe bet to be taking that top 2 spot. I'd be very surprised if they weren't up there. But in terms of who else takes it, I think there's a lot of options there. Obviously, GK Wild, Matchco, they're 3 big orgs with pretty decent sized ones with some decent backing on them. So I'd say put them as fair bets as well. Good Intentions did so well in the Open qualifiers. Yet again, wouldn't be surprised to see them making a deep run of this. It's Galerians as well. Obviously, a lot of ex-tier 1 French talent. Bibu, Jax. So there's plenty of great players on that team. And obviously, all of the other teams are going to be competing as well, doing it as their best job as they can to try and throw a spanner in the works. And yeah, there's a lot of good teams here, and it does suck in a way that only 2 teams can be going through onwards to playoffs, EML rather, because I'm looking at these going, right, looking at all these teams, who actually is, the best ones here as a sort of reckon, Twisted Minds, Super Noobs, Ex-Falcons, whatever you want to call them, they're definitely up there, and they should, I think, on paper win. I mean, they were top 8 in Montreal, top 8 at Boston in the Invitational not that long ago, top 8, and that's not just in Europe, that's in the world. But they should be on the top, surely. Right, they should be on the top. In my mind, at least, they should be up there competing with the best. Everyone else, there's a lot of good teams, and I don't really know who it's going to be. I don't know. If I'm being honest, that's the excitement of this competition. And the other thing is, I'm going to bring the schedule bracket back up again. It's so quick. That's really, I think, what is going to be making this competition scary for a lot of these teams. At the minute, what immediately catches my eye by this is EK, of course, losing yesterday's game. They're now in the 0-1 bracket. They're going to be going up against Blanciti Retifi, of course. And if they can't make mistakes, if they can't wrong yesterday's mistakes, I think there's going to be some real concern for that EK roster, because obviously they're a newer composition, newer put together group. Whether it's going to be a case of they need some time to gel, but of course they don't have time to gel. It's a very, very quick format we're moving through here. Of course, you've only got 4 days of Swiss group stage, and if you have 3 bad games, then unfortunately for you, that's your day. That's your Challenger Series done, dusted. Of course, you have a little bit of your about to start at just shy of a 2-week break from now until from Swiss until playoffs. So as long as you can survive, as long as you beat, really the goal is to beat half the competition. 8 go onwards, 8 go home. So obviously you're going to want to make sure you're in that top 8. If you don't, you're not going to be going further on in Challenger Series. It's a very cutthroat, and as you say, Kenneth, yeah, as well. Playoffs itself is 4 days. There's that little bit of a break between the first weekend and the second weekend, but realistically, it's still not a lot of time for any of these teams to really adjust. It's not like a year-long. It's really not like a year-long league system, so it's going to be one of these really, really interesting games, and it's going to be exciting. At the end of the day, it's going to be exciting. Of course, Swiss stage is going to be covered all the way through on community casting, I believe, all the way through Swiss stage from now to Sunday. There's the official stream going up as well, but then there also is, of course, the official stream as well. That's there, Rainbow Six NEU. I'm going to put up the reminder for folks just sort of warming in, joining us. Let's just have a quick rundown of all of the streams, all of the games today. We've got Les Galerians match code over on Uragan's Rainbow Six Italian League community, Raki's stream. The official stream, Rainbow Six NEU, that is P45 versus Twisted Minds. Wild versus Onyx Ravens, that's on Andre Sherlock. Vanciti Retifi versus EK, that is on Ethan Abbey's stream. Go Next versus Fan de Puco, that's going to be on E6 France's stream. And then, of course, the game on this stream is going to be Honvéd Esports versus Good Intentions. So, excited to be. Of course, it's a really, really great day, and it's really exciting to be. And yeah, I think you raised that point perfectly there. It's a momentum thing. If you start off going well, you can get in a bit of a roll. We've seen it with teams before. You see it at hit top competition in Siege. I'm looking to. I don't want to say Beast Coast back at Manchester. I think that's robbing them of the quality of Siege that they played a little bit. But they definitely were boosted. I think definitely elevated to a degree by the fact that, oh look, we've just sent home Team Liquid. Oh look, we've just sent home FaZe Clan. We've sent home some really, really big teams. They're rolling into that grand final. Maybe the salty BDS fan. Covered a jersey there. So obviously it's a slightly salty BDS fan still. We will, momentum obviously can play a massive factor in this game. So yeah, obviously there's going to be a break, and I do think there will be teams that perhaps might have not had a great qualifier, who might might have not had a great Swiss stage, barely scraped into playoffs. then go into playoffs and then it's like a new leaf turn. And I think there's also going to be the exact opposite of that as well. Some teams that maybe perhaps overperform in Swiss stage get into groups and then fizzle out from there a little bit. It's obviously consistency is a very difficult thing to have. If you ask me, it's one of the hardest things for any team, that any esport really to get down. You know, you look at the grand finals at S tier competitions we've had over the last 24 months, and there's only been 2 teams that have been consistent throughout the entirety of them. That, of course, being BDS and Furia, or W7M at the time. They're the only teams that are really consistently making grand finals. Everyone else, there's teams that are consistently getting close, but there's no teams that you can really rival with that consistent level of performance, and that's so difficult to hold. And obviously, for one of these teams, obviously for 2 of these teams as well, that consistency is going to have to hold out. Because of course, you win this, you go over onwards into EML League, which means you've got a whole year of competition ahead of you. Really exciting stuff. We're in for only 1-1. I know. The BDS genuinely... BDS so... as a slight BDS fan, if it wasn't evident by the jersey that's just floating up there, and I regret... Okay, so there's a story behind this jersey, and you know what? I'm getting words being given that we've got a couple of minutes, so hold on, give me a second. Oh, I'm going to show my... I'm going to just stay out of frame momentarily because I've got, like, Christmas pajamas on. Because I was like, I'm not changing into, like, actual jeans or any trousers for, like, the purposes of this, because I've been sitting doing uni work all day. So, I bought this jersey, right, and if it's not obvious by the camera, I'm just a large guy, so I was like, get like a size up, and it just does not fit, like, in the slightest, like, at all. It, like, literally sits on me like a crop top, and I'm just like, but it was on clearance, so I was like, weird. I kind of got it, so I was like, so I brought it along to Manchester, and I was like, oh, BDS are going to win their first major, because obviously they just won Malta previously, Malta 2024, Cyber Series 7. The only jersey you have is the ITV one. Saturday Liquid, listen, they don't do BDS chairs. That's all I'm going to say. They don't do BDS chairs. If they did, I'd be spending another couple £100 on a new chair. But yeah, I don't know if it makes out on the camera. It doesn't really. It's like, oh, it does go on the camera, yeah. But there we go. Anyway, this is my prize siege possession. ITB jersey. Funnily enough, I've got one of those Manchester ITB jerseys as well. And ever since the whole shenanigans of ITB happened, that thing has been sitting in my wardrobe. That thing has not seen the light of sun in about, what was it, about 2 and a bit months now. That's just been sitting in there because, you know what, that's just been sitting in there, hiding away, waiting for, I don't know what, honestly. Speaking of ITB, should we have a call that team nemesis? Because, yeah. I don't know if I want to talk about nemesis. I was following him a lot through the Open qualifiers. If any of you were here for that, I was following him all, like, most of the way through. Hoverboard, who won Map 1? Map 1 has not been played yet. We're still waiting for it to start. This is the map veto as well. I'll pull this back up as we've not had a little conversation about this one in a while. Nighthaven Labs, Cafe Dostoevsky, and then Chalet as our decider. So we're currently sitting at 0-0. So, perfect stuff, yeah. Not missed a single thing. Ooh, split to Shopify. Good one. I think that roster's going to cook. I think... look, I'm going to put it out there. I have some slight bias towards Spoit, because Berlin was my first major, and obviously Spoit won that rookie season, all of that, yada yada, Cinderella story type thing. So I'm always going to have a soft spot for a lot of those players on that rogue roster, so Spoit obviously being one of them. Spoit is, in my opinion, one of the best players in the world. There's nothing really doubting about that, and I'm going to put it out there. I've been sitting watching M80 for him on M80 for the last year and a bit now, just over. I think it's been about now. If not, it feels that longer. Just watching M80 churn players kind of in and out. Like, it just feels like the player comes in, doesn't work, immediately player gets dropped, and I'm just thinking they're not going to win a major like this. I don't think they're going to ever win anything internationally. M80, they'll do well regionally enough because at the end of the day, M80 have the budget to get 5 of the best players available to them at the time from NA, from elsewhere, in playing with them. They have that budget, they have that capability. Regionally, it's going to work, but I think internationally, as we saw time and time again, they shreds. It's not great performance from them. So the minute I saw Spoit get dropped from M8 or leaving M80. As much as it was like, oh no, where's he going to go next? Internally, I'm going. It's exactly like Packers getting dropped after one major. That's the thing. Like, I think, yeah, it's about being comfortable because you can afford to get a bit experiment. You know, I think in that M80 scene, I'm obviously not a player. I'm not good enough to be a player, so I don't want to speak too much for the players. But sort of in my head, I'm sitting in this position of, I think as a player, if you're seeing people constantly coming in and out the door, you have to have that bar to perform. You're constantly feeling that pressure to perform. Because if you don't perform, you're going to be the next one out that door. If that's like constantly the system being churning you in and churning people through in and out. And see, I think it was a clip from a Spoit stream. I'm going to see if I can find it. I saw this clip from Spoit stream the other day, but he had a lot of offers. I'm going to see if I can find it very, very quickly here. Here we go. So, I don't think I can play it. Actually, I should be able to play it. I should be able to play this with sound. Give me 2 seconds to prepare it up for you all quickly. Right, there you go. So, let's have a listen. Let's have a watch of this clip, shall we? Ignore the...
Oh shit, dude, true. I could have joined. I had offers at Dark Zero, G2, Fnatic, stay at M80, SR, obviously. Yeah. Good options.
So yeah, while we're sitting here discussing, obviously a lot of really big names there. DZ, Spoit, Spoit.DZ, Spoit.G2, Spoit.Fnatic. I thought he would go back to EU, if I'm being honest. I thought Fnatic would be the logical option. And then as well, I thought as well, obviously Fnatic being the logical option, I think the Fnatic arc, I mean, who's on Fnatic right now? Because, to be fair, they had a long old run in the Fnatic. Let's pull up the Malta stats really quickly here. By the way, I do apologise. We are getting the game ready. I don't actually know what it is. If I'm being honest. We have to wait until we're told we're allowed to start the game. So the game is coming as soon as it's ready. I don't know when that is. We're just waiting on words. This is obviously Malta from a couple of weeks ago. It doesn't show up on the screen fully. There we go. And yeah, so obviously Fnatic 2-3 ents in the grand final, and obviously Fnatic had a really, really good, decent showing at that event. Obviously, I think a lot of the Tier 1 teams, especially those competing at Reload, were sort of, I don't want to say saving. I don't want to say they were saving, but they definitely weren't 100% putting it all out there, I don't think, the entire time through. And I think, obviously, when the players move, it's... Obviously, so what would it Fnatic could have been? Who would you have taken off that Fnatic roster, though? That's the question. Obviously, looking at that Fnatic roster, who would you have taken off? Also got the word the game has started, so we're about 4 minutes out. I do apologise for the wait. We're about 4 minutes out of the game. So as soon as I hear that going in the game feed, we'll hop over to that. So I don't know who I'd take out of that Fnatic roster, honestly, because it's a really strong set. And yeah, I don't really know. And obviously, a lot of it will not be entirely on pay. That's never normally the case. Obviously, I believe it was Leaky Pack talking about joining Falcons. I don't really like the Falcons org too much. There was obviously a lot of what's the word? They were obviously saying on Twitter how it wasn't a financial decision. There were orgs offering more money. It was a case of they believed in the vision that Falcons had, and I think that's probably a case that will ring true because at the end of the day, I have to hope that every player who is here isn't here for a money bag. They're here to compete. They're here, you know. And as far as I'm aware, every player that I know is here to lift the hammer. At least that I know. Every player who is here to lift the hammer. At the end of the day, even these guys competing tonight here in Challenger Series, it's a long way away for them. Sure, obviously not just get through. Oh yeah, the Shopify Rebellion pay salary is probably huge. They're one of the orgs that I look at and I'm going, how are they not a partnered org? Like Shopify, I don't know if they're expanding the partner program next year. I'm certainly looking at them going, they should be one of the partner orgs next year. Like Shopify are a huge org with a lot on there, a lot of following behind them as well as got some big streamers. I believe is it Ludwig and Moist, all that are like co-owners of that org now. So there's some really big names behind that. Yeah, Super as well. And that's the thing, I think Super and Canadian, part of it seems to be a thing with the older players. It's obviously a thing with a lot of the older players. They like to kind of they like to have these longer projects, I feel, with a lot of the older players. Super and Canadian obviously gives the older names in the scene. They like to have these long projects. They like to go ages with them. So I think this is a good place for Spoit to really, I think, develop. Because obviously he came straight onto Rogue, had that massive performance at Berlin, then at SI 2023, had that decent performance. I think it was top 6 finish for Rogue at the time. So that roster's still quite performing. Obviously, then it all got ripped to shreds, and then he ended up on M80. It's really, obviously, it's nice to see, and that's it. Ambi Spoit entry duo. Not that I imagine any of the players in any of these pro regions would lose to me. I'd definitely get ripped to shreds by any single one of them. You can imagine that Ambi Spoit on an entry duo, that is going to be a nightmare for anyone to deal with. Mowgli to Secret, I like it. I think a lot of these roster moves from the outside, I mean, obviously the BDS, obviously it's kind of all got a bit squiggly with like BDS, Wolves going to BDS, and obviously a couple other players going from elsewhere. But I do think that is probably a roster move, and I think it's one of those, you know, it might benefit most parties. Obviously, there's going to be some question marks there, obviously. But I think Mowgli's going to fit right in. I think with Secret, we saw quite a bit of that in Malta as well. Secret did not as great as I was expecting them to, but they didn't look awful. Wolves, TBC. But I'm going to put the pause on the overall talk sides for 1 minute, folks, because we have got a game on our hands. It's going to be Honvéd versus Good Intentions here. Best of 3, round 2 now of group stages. Just going to turn the game up ever so slightly for you all, because apparently it's seeming a little bit quiet on the feed here. Audio filters, that is clean feed audio. I'm going to just dial the gain up here. Hey, if it's too loud, too quiet, please do let me know. But other than that, we're going to be having a game in our hands here. Good Intentions, Honvéd. Obviously, Honvéd coming off of a win from yesterday. Good Intentions as well. One of them is going to be going further onwards into tomorrow's opportunity to get themselves qualified for playoffs. Another one, they're going to be going into the mid-bracket. They're going to need to be fighting for that second chance. Operator bands coming through. Blackbeard and Dokkaebi. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Blackbeard, of course, so oppressive lately since that shield rework. Dokkaebi as well. Just overall massively impactful as an operator. Obviously, that global ability, you hit the button, activates it for everyone. It's insanely impactful. No surprise there, it's being taken out. Jade as well, yet another common one for labs, especially being such a breach-centric map, especially on that top floor command server. You need to be getting these breaches open, and obviously having the Jade off the board is going to make that a hell of a lot easier. Fenrir as well. And yet again, another more powerful utility, more powerful entries. No surprise there that those are going to be the ones taking off the ball here. So we head on to round number 1. Good Intentions going to be starting our things up on the top floor. Fairly standard operator lineup looking here. Interestingly enough, nothing to really play that breach game. You've obviously got the mute of Elizao to sort of deny breaches starting, but once they're started, it's not stopping that train. You've got no bandits for tricking here, and I've got a feeling Honvéd might be changing the operator lineup slightly to deal with that, obviously realising that they're going to be able to get these things wide and open as and when they want to. So we'll wait for it to see how it goes. Good Intentions going to be just starting things off as to be expected really here. Not going to be trying anything crazy with the operator lineup just yet, and then there you go. That sort of change up coming in through Honvéd that I thought they would, where they realise they don't need to play the Maverick game with a bandit anymore because there is no bandit. They can just quite comfortably play the Thermite, put an Exothermic on the walls, EMP at the bottom, get them open. Nice, easy, done, dusted. Going to be having a last minute swap over on towards the ace. And then we head in towards the round. Let's see what round number 1 can get cooking up for us here on Nighthaven Labs. Obviously, just joining us here, welcome on in first and foremost. Secondly, map view is in the top right of your screen. Honvéd, this is their map pick here, Nighthaven Labs. Good Intentions picked onto Cafe, Chalet being our decider. So, with that, we've got hopefully quite an exciting game on our hands here, really. Two teams that I think, obviously, towards the higher end of the seeding proportions. So it's not really a surprise to see, obviously, them both going up against each other, and hopefully what's going to be a really aggressive, fun game. And speaking of aggressive, Krex going for a run out early on, looking the wrong way. Unfortunately, not going to be catching the player. Almost had it. Very much almost had it there, but was just facing the wrong direction. And obviously, you don't want to spend too much time outside because A, you're spotted, and B, you know, all of a sudden you're in a very vulnerable position because you've got that floating marker on your head. There's only so much you can do outside before the pressure just mounts up and you can't really do anything from there. But not really stopping the aggression, it seems, at all. Krex still peeking, still looking for these angles outside onto the players. But now here comes the massive walking, talking problem for this round here. Wizard spotted him out. It's going to be Juzu over on the Montaigne pit. We saw a lot of great shield use from Honvéd yesterday evening. So not surprised to see them doing it yet again today. Of course, the question comes is how are they able to use it here? It's a different map, one I've not seen from them before. So we'll have to see how it goes. And it's going to start things off here. Wizard getting a pick over onto Atties. Makes it a 4 versus 5 here for Honvéd here. Need to get in on their attack here. And look at this. Krex is on the flank. They have no idea. Just takes down Joker just like that. And now the shield's in a real hard place here because not only have you got players up on top trying to contest towards IT, you've also got players below, which is exactly where Headset's going to come into the equation here to try and make sure the shield can remain isolated in this 1v1 because it's a decent position to be in a 1v1 like this if you're in a shield here. You just can't let Krex keep the distance. You need to corner him up, shut him in the corner, do exactly that. Krex taken down, isolated there, unable to really be supported by the team, and he's going to fall. Makes things back with 3 versus 4, of course. Damage has been done a lot of at this point here. It's, 3 versus 4 situation. Difficult one for Honvéd to come back in towards. But they can certainly still do that. They've got the time and they've got the shields, most importantly. And they've got the elimination. Fantasy takes down Drills. Here's a C4 from CSK. Throws it out. Doesn't quite hit the mark. But still going to be holding this position behind the shield here. And you can look, watch this. Wizard's got the long angle through. But it doesn't matter because Fantasy takes them down. Fantasy takes down another. Wizard goes down. And it's round flipped around all onto Elizao here. Pushing towards Rafters. Does take down the ace. But doesn't matter because the kit is going down here. Fantasy left the cover. Sees defeat. Throws a C4. But I don't think it's going to hit. No, it's not. Diffuser does go down. And suddenly, the 1 versus 2 retake's going to have to come through here. If Good Intentions want to keep this round their side. Stared up with a shield here. You have to try and find Fantasy first. You can see it. It's support in the back of Elizao's mind here. Support away. You can melee this shield all you want. It is going to increasingly make the shield move. And eventually may go down. Almost has it. But look at the time. This is spontaneous wasted here. Juzao not moving a muscle. Not moving an inch. Just not giving away anything. And surely the clock's done its blow at this point here. I think Elizao's recognised it. Going to try and bait out the kill here. There's not really much more you can do in this kind of a situation. As the clock hits 0, it's going to be an early round going the way of Honvéd. There you go. Fantasy closing out with what I believe to be a quad kill that round. What a way to start off the game. What a Hungarian side. What a round indeed. Spicy one. Bit of back and forth. Immediately, love to see it. A bit of a close one there. Always is a little bit of a close one. We're going to head in towards another little tech pause there. So we can just wait and see for the old tech pause to come through here. And, well, as it does, we're just going to wait. We're just going to see exactly what's going to be happening through here. And for round number 1, that one was pretty aggressive to start off with there. Honvéd obviously having to deal with that player far out on the roam of Krex. That one was really difficult there. Krex definitely did a great job in that round of applying the aggression, getting behind the attack of Honvéd. And really lucky that they had that shield there. Ultimately, that shield, I think, was what really won them the round. It was the shield play that was really driving them yesterday. So it's not a surprise here at all to really see the shield play doing some really, really great work here. Now, just because it's a little bit of a tech pause, if you give me 2 seconds, I'm just going to play. Bye-bye. That is a video file. And there we go. Okay, so you guys can just have some music in the background here while we're just waiting out for this tech pause to go through because I feel it's just a bit awkward me sitting here just with no music. So there you go. Have some jams. Have some of the post-match SI beats from. I believe that was that SI 2022. This playlist now for absolutely years now. But either way. It will be there. It will be present should we want to listen to it again. So, here. relax, wait for the beats to go through, and what a good idea, good intention of how Honvéd are going to be want to play in this one. As you can tell, I'm really running the film here, but it matters not. Because we are just having a good old chill time here, and I imagine that's what this stream vibe is going to be for. We're going for a bit more of a chill vibe tonight, of course, with the live. Of course, there we go, ready from admin, so I'm going to say goodbye to the music as we get back in towards the game now here, folks. Thank you for bearing... Oh, never mind, no, we're not. Okay, no, 1 minute, okay. Let's throw it to my face, why not? Let's put my face back on it. Hi, we're back. We're here. Promise this game will be coming on. Hopefully, we won't have so many pauses in between rounds. It's just an unfortunate thing does happen sometimes. So, let's look at things back at round number 1. Obviously, Honvéd, great start, continuing on from their form yesterday. Obviously, the attacks were the problem area for Honvéd yesterday across a lot of maps. Consulate, they were all right. Consulate was 3-3 split on the attack, if I'm remembering correctly. Bank was wobbly. I think it was 4-2. No, Bank was the map with bad attacks. Sorry. Bank was the maps where, if you weren't here for yesterday's game, it was a bit of carnage there over on yesterday's stream. It was, I believe it was a 5-1 advantage for Honvéd. So they were looking really, really good on the attack of Bank. On their defensive half, sorry. It flipped over to the attack, obviously 5-1, and the game ended 7-5. Honvéd lost 6 attacking rounds in a row. EML Academy made such a comeback in that game. Really, A, it was really impressive to watch, and B, it was disastrous for Honvéd. They ended up having a really good chalet and then obviously just about edged out over on Consulate. Take the series, of course. Well, let me find ourselves up here in the higher bracket. Yeah, update that at the top. Actually, round 2. We're on the round 2 high side, I think, aren't we? Let's update that, shall we? So, look, ready. It's going to refresh any second now. Wow, there you go. We're round 2 high. Isn't that amazing? I love technology when it works on occasion. There you go. We're round 2 high. That's what we are. We're in the higher half of round number 2 with the teams currently in the 1-0 bracket. Anyway, back to the game at hand. Honvéd going to be attacking the basement this time around. Lineup very much still bringing over, relying around that shield play. Druzal's almost always on a shield. Obviously, you can't get rid of them all. Good intentions probably with Blackbeard this time around. Obviously, not going to be able to get rid of all 3 of them, and Honvéd rarely, if ever, do ban the shields. So, definitely going to be seeing a lot of shields all the way through tonight, at least when Honvéd are on the offensive. Good intentions, though. It seems like a bit of a... Quite like the idea of this lineup here. Wizard going to be playing quite a deep robot over towards the top floor, over on that vigil. Pick, of course, hide yourself from the drones and look to do what Prex attempted to do in the previous round, trying to get behind the attack and flank, cause a bit of chaos. Play a different goal, or play the same goal rather. Here comes the hop in towards Freezer, and I've got a feeling Honvéd, they just might want to be sending players down the staircase here. Does CSK know how much pain you're about to be in, my friend? Sees the blitz, sees the player behind, and now you know you're in a predicament. Caught on the rotate by the Maverick. Headset finds one upstairs. Hatties finds it. Rex trying to respond. And it's a real good sort of pincer movement here from the side of Honvéd, but suddenly good intentions answer back in the kill feed. Elizo and Drills with 1 back apiece. We're at a 3 versus 3 point. But site is free. Site is under the control of Honvéd now. They should be able to force the fuse down if that's what they want to go and do here. Camera is spotting them out, so they may have to take somebody's utility through. It matters not, because they have site control and they could try and force the hit down. It'd be a risky one because, of course, the vertical is going to be used against them there. You can see Wizard above looking to try and cause a problem from high up, but they're not going to be let in towards the objective. Vertical, not needed. Drills is going to be the one to find the elimination there on towards the shield. Honvéd, they've gotten themselves in towards the objective, but they've also worked themselves. It seems like a little bit of a trap here from good intentions. They're able to sort of reverse this one around here. You might want that really direct push to site Honvéd, but good intentions. They're on the other way round. They're going to be sitting up from above now, and they're just going to be almost playing the attack. But they don't need to actually make a move inwards because they are, of course, the defending team. They can just wait out the last 30 seconds of this clock here. Fantasy and Headset, what can they do? Diffuser is cold for the time being. Going to need to be recovered. And it's going to be difficult to make that movement because you can see Wizards got the vertical under control here. Really great stuff from them. And you see Fantasy wants to try and make the engagement over towards it. But they need to try and find these players here. towards Cargo. Do you know about the player on the staircase? Well, they know about you now. Gonna swing out off the back of that camera. Elizal finds it. But it's all on the shoulders of Headset there. Behind the pillar. Not alive for long. Drills is going to close it out there. And that camera. Wowee. Bit of safety net there from the camera. Giving Elizal the massive boost of intel there. That was really needed for that one. Good intentions. They answer back with a round of their own. Basement locked down. Very likely to head back upstairs now. Give that top floor site another go. Because this is obviously typically the one that is brought along by these teams as a primary bomb site. So losing it the first one, nerves first thing happens, does, on occasion things go wrong sometimes. Honvéd going to be going upstairs, giving it another shot. Going to have to try and attack this one yet again. Good intentions. What do they have this time in terms of adaptations to try and bring difference around? That's a question I'm asking. From looking at this operator lineup, and it's to me at least looking like it's much of the same as what we saw in round number 1. I believe it may actually be almost identical. No, it is identical actually to what we saw first round of this game. So no changes coming in from Good Intentions. Honvéd, they know the objectives on the top floor, and they are going to be adjusting. And that's the key here. They've likely read into the fact that the defense is bringing the same thing twice. So we can't attack. They're obviously wanting to play the same thing twice because they believe they're going to win it if they play it twice. Honvéd, they're going to need to change things up slightly. Going with a double hard breach combination this time instead of opting to drop the shield for the first time as well. Well, I reckon that one's going to work out in an attack where Honvéd, I don't feel like when they didn't play shield last time, they really struggled with control. At times, they certainly look a little bit timid, Honvéd. Previously in the first sort of matchups for the day, yesterday, when they weren't bringing the shields, control and looking a little bit timid in general was a struggle for them. So I'm going to look at them, curious to see, of course, if they fixed the wrongs of yesterday. That's the real question that I'm going to be asking of them here. What we're likely to see is a slow start to the round, really, here. Not quite as aggressive as we were seeing from MMA yesterday in that game, where it was a lot of early engagements. This time around, it seems like we might be on for a little bit of a slower one here. This might even lab. Sarah Jones going to be going in towards Rafters. Takes down one of the key barricades here. Best operator to be dealing with those, of course, is probably Flores. Able to tear through them quite easily. All that movable cover being applied by the Azami. Well, it's not going to be there for long. Joker moves in towards the meeting. Now trying to apply some horizontal pressure towards the objective now. Honvéd, of course, having to be cautious of the flank. Exactly where the Nomad comes into play. But I don't think there's going to be anything just as of yet. All 5 players of Good Intentions on that top floor. Quite happy to just hold it out, right? Play a very anchor-centric setup. Perhaps that's the adjustment being made here. It's not the operators, it's more so the strategy of the round. Playing more site-centric, playing closer to the objective. Nice angle here from Uzal. I don't think it's quite going to catch anything. He'd have to be very, very lucky too. Just as I say, that does find CSK. Spraying towards Electrical. Joker gets taken down by Correx. 4 versus 4 here. And now look at this. Mirror window is still active here. So Correx is going to reposition back behind it. No utility to clear it out on the side of Honvéd. No shields to get close to it either. So very interested to see how they actually go about taking these mirror windows here. Because at least as it stands, that connector room is going to be a bit of a no man's land here for the attacking team. As long as Correx can continue to hide behind the mirror window. C4's thrown by Elizal does find Fantasy. And this is the big issue. As you saw there, Headset throws the Selma charge on towards the wall. But it's Mute Jam. Don't have any EMPs there in the pocket of Honvéd. And as a result of that, you're not going to be able to clear that jammer out. This is just being fortified even heavier here. Going for a bit of a mid-round reinforce. I think they realised the game here. Correx gets the reinforcement up on the wall. Suddenly they're locked out of connect here. How did they actually get in? Well, that's a really great question. Headset is going to open up the wall ever so slightly there with one of those Selma charges. Great mid-round play, but an even better shot from Wizard is traded back by Juzaldo. 2 versus 3 for the offensive now. One going to be swinging out on towards Rafters. Do they? No. Yes, they do. Juzal finds another in the round. 2 in the go for him. Elizal's going to be the final one to fall. Headset finds it. And Good Intentions yet again come out on top on this second floor. Again, another round, I think, where really not a lot between these two. A lot of quite decisive plays, really, between the two teams. I mean, that one was definitely around, I think, another one that I think Good Intentions probably should have gotten away with a little bit there. I feel like that should have been a Good Intentions round there. They had obviously the mid-round reinforcement idea, which was a little stroke of genius, of course. But then didn't seem to work out in the end of things. Good Intentions going to be giving this one a 3rd attempt. Of course, regardless of what happens here after this round, the basement doesn't lock again. That should be another lockdown, really, for the side of Good Intentions, if they can at least do it again. But Nighthaven Labs, we actually have some statistics from yesterday. I don't know the names. I would be lying if I said I did. But there are obviously going to be how wonderful. There are some admins over on the Wikipedia side of things who are filling in the stats, giving some information that I can use here. So I'm not sure who it is. If by any chance anyone does know, please let me know, because I want to thank them, because I can give you all some numbers here. So Nighthaven Labs, 39 rounds were played of it yesterday. It was 64% defender win rate, meaning that really Good Intentions should be coming out of this half of 4-2 advantage. And if you look at the score at the top of your screen, we're going into round number 4, and it doesn't look like at least that's going to be the case here. Honvéd off to a really strong start here. And yet again, lineup of Good Intentions for this top floor, not changed in the slightest. They're keeping exactly the same one they fought for the last 2 attempts now. Honvéd, though, keeping things different, keeping things on the fly here. And, well, first round we saw a single shield lineup. Second round, no shields. This round, all 2 of them rather, the 2 that remain, the Black Blitz and the Montaigne being brought on the board. Apply a lot of that pressure. I would do wonder for Good Intentions. I feel like they're waiting for Honvéd to try the same thing again, but they're not going to. Honvéd have a very deep strategy pool from what it seems here, and it's working for them. Joker and Fancy with one apiece. Krex does answer back with a trade, but the man advantage is still the way of Honvéd, but not for long if Wizard and Krex have anything to say about it. Swing around back, and all that remain now for the Hungarian team. It is the 2 shields up here. One is locked in electrical, the other in connector, so it's going to have to be a very flat push in here. But if there's one thing these shields are good at, it is that ability to create space here. And look at that. There you go. Juzal's going to do exactly that. Get into the objective. Get that diffuser down. All Joker needs to do here is hold on. They're going to know the player's there. The pressure's going to be mounting, and he should be able to stick it. Juzal does indeed do that, but gets meleeed by Krex. 1 versus 3 here required for Joker. They're going to be taking down the player on the defuse. Get it done successfully, but Krex takes your head off in the process there. A bloodbath of a round, but Good Intentions finally. 3rd time is the charm. They come out on top on this top floor finally. Get themselves leveled back up 2 apiece. And all we can hope is that we have a game in our hands. Good Intentions likely going to be heading back down towards the basement, by far their most successful objective. Will they be able to get it going a second time and take the lead for the first time in this series on map number 1? That's the question. The answer is in the next 3 minutes. Lineup looking slightly different to what they played before, and this is one thing that I think Good Intentions really I wanted to see from them in the last 2 attempts on football, where they're just bringing the same lineup. Finally, they were seeing something different. Last time they had a mirror and a castle and a vigil on the lineup. This time around, we're seeing the 2 Burrell, the Goyo, and the Bandit being brought different, I believe. So 3 different operators, all adjustments being made. And that's a good idea. You need to be keeping your opponents on the fly. Can't let them repeat things, because otherwise, it's a little bit, this is worrisome, because the minute they can get a read on how you're going to place them, if you know what half the mystery and half the difficulty of attacking on Siege is, you don't know 100% what you're walking. You never know for certain what it is you're going to be going. Could be going into an anchor heavy light. That's what those lovely little drones are for. Even all 5 of them alive on, but I'd like to see it. Never mind, one's got taken out. I tried. I really, really tried. But, curiously enough, they're hiding that 2 Burrell. Good Intentions. You can see there, just at the end of the round, they're hiding that 2 Burrell in assembly. But there's no hard breach really being played here by the side of Honvéd. There's 1 player Fantasy going to be using the can openers. Gets Animus open early on. Other than that, there's not really a massive push around it. I've got a feeling this one's going to be playing quite vertically here. 2 operators, of course, Atties and Juzal, going to be quite indicative of that on the buck and the sledge, respectively. So, going to be having quite a vertical game here, which means you do need to clear out the map. There's 1 player out on the roam for the side of Good Intentions. That, of course, being Elizao. Correct, sorry. Over there playing towards vending. Elizao is playing the staircase, so close to it. Could definitely move up if needed be. But I don't think that's the intention here. Good Intentions instead. They just want to be playing a bit more site-centric, as we've seen from them quite a few times here. But Eliza's definitely going to be sort of testing this cargo area, restricting that movement around there, and that's where you want to be tonight, this vertical play, you know. It's that garage area you're seeing, warehouse rather. That is the area that most of the vertical pressure on towards this basement comes from, sort of originates from. So if you can make sure you've got a defensive player there, it's different. It's very different, difficult to sort of answer that one back. Frag Grenade's going to go in from headset. They have the idea that the player's playing on the staircase there, and the goal just might be here. Let the vertical play out and just have the IQ from outside the window covering. Try and almost bait them up the staircase. Headset's on the watch and, you know, can be pretty darn good at it. Mute Jammer going to be taken out by a Frag Grenade most likely. Lighthouse still on the staircase here. Going to play it tucked up close with the shotgun. But you've got to be cautious here. It's a good spot to be in, but they know you're there now. C4 is going to be lobbed. It's not going to quite hit its mark there. Unfortunately, doesn't quite find it. Instead, going to be CSK. Hello. Waiting and hiding. All the members, bar Krex, now down in that basement. Krex over towards Vendin, so over on the other area of the map. Could try and make a flank, try and make a push across, but it'd be risky doing so. Final 50 seconds of the round now. All 10 players left up and standing. And a lot of utility in the pocket as well of Honvéd. First death mark's going to be coming through here. That is going to be CSK getting targeted out by the bandit. You're in a difficult spot here. There's a lot of vertical pressure that can be applied, but we're going to focus on elsewhere on the map. Vertical pressure being applied by Juza, who takes down Wizard. Drop into Animus comes through. Now it's going to be Honvéd, going to be eyeing up the plant there. Going to be players going to be sticking it down there. It's going to be Fantasy. The vertical cover is good, denying it, but no. The plant gets stuck down eventually. Joker trades it back. It's a bloodbath back and forth from every way. But 3 versus 2, make it a 2 versus 2. We're back to evens here. But Joker's got the vertical above. Krex is trying to reclaim it, but has no idea where this Deimos is. Joker just has to hide. Hear the players shuffling around him. Who's out as well below. Playing around there with drills. They know the player's there, but the vertical cover was not there. Krex finds a double. And the diffuser will just be stuck out. Yet another post-plant from Honvéd. And another one that slips away from them. Correct. My oh my. Some good shooting. Some really good shooting there. And I mean, it's a risky one to play. Of course, you send the player upstairs, meaning there's only one on the objective. You lose that gunfight down in the basement. You don't have time to get to the diffuser. It's risky. But it proves over on the side of good intentions, rather. They've got each other's back. And they're certainly warming into this one. They've taken now what I'd say is definitely a well-deserved lead on Nighthaven Labs here. Of course, is the defense is the favoured objective. And if stats, of course, would back up to what we were used to seeing, a 4-2-half is kind of what we'd expect here on this map. Yeah, look. Get towards round number 6. Going to be seeing control for the first time. And I have to wonder, were there drones there in the end of that last round? Were there drones covering from the side of Honvéd? I've got to wonder how exactly they slipped through. Krex was able to get up there undetected. They just seem to have no idea that another player had gone up the staircase. I'm assuming if there were drones, they weren't being much. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on this game. I'm just here to talk. Here to do a little bit of yapping, as we all like to do. Of course, welcome on in, folks, as well. Plenty of you joining us. I see a few of you in the chat as well. Nice to see. Welcome on in. Ooh. Someone wants to get aggressive there. I had to guess who. Probably going to be... Ooh, I don't know. They're waiting. They're pausing. Let's look back in here. Headset going to be getting the IT breach open here. Of course, the breach game of Labs is crucially important across most all of the objectives, bar the basement, really. And obviously, getting that vertical control on a site like Control is really... Control storage, you really need to have that vertical locked down. You get into a post plant from above or below, it can be really difficult to stick that diffuser, and you need to have control to hold it through. Well, I think they might just want to send a shield in here. That's exactly what they're going to do. Guzal's going to just sprint straight into the objective. Gives the ping on the player. C4's going to come out, shot out of the air. And look at this, diffuser's being stuck. Honvéd may just be able to stick this one, force it through. Yes, they will. They take 2 players with them. And suddenly, good intentions are left to respond. Drills above. Droned out, they know he's there, but can't really make a massive play because they have the idea the players on the staircase do find headset eventually. See the one on the roof, finds him as well. Drills. That's 2. Finds 2. But with time ticking away, good intentions here. They have to make a move. They have to try and fight their way back in towards this round here. And Isaiah got to run in towards the objective. Taken down by Fancy, prone in the corner with the LMG. Wizard underneath. Drills above. Time's ticking away from them. They're not going to have it through. All they can hope to do is get some final eliminations here as the round goes the way of Lenovo Honvéd, and they get themselves an even half, which is something we don't see a hell of a lot of in Nighthaven Labs. It's a sign that Honvéd are here to play. Of course, we're always on a tail here. What we see in one half of the game doesn't always translate successfully across towards the second half of the game. So, who knows what happens next? Well, we're going to have to wait and see here. First half comes through, and there's not a whole lot separating these teams the entirety of the way through. Instead, both of them really going through. Yeah. What a great round in Honvéd. Well, they like their shields. So, why is it no surprise that Fantasy is straight on the clash there? 7-4 in a minute as well, and Juzao as well, having another great performance here. Stepped up quite a bit yesterday, especially towards the end of the series. Juzao definitely a standout player towards the end of the last game. On yesterday's game, rather. Towards the end of it, definitely had a real great performance. Had like 16, 17 kills or something. Real great one. Of course. Yes, of course, see that performance sticking through towards the day. Well, good intentions. They've got Drills doing really great job. Breck's leading the lobby at the minute, 9-4. Unfortunately, though, I think what's letting them down a little bit here is, of course, you do have a player currently sitting on 0 kills. And obviously, you're always going to have players get less kills. Don't want to say it's, you know, expected for everyone to be popping off all the time. But 0 is not where you want to be. You want to be above that 0. So, I hope CSK can change things a little bit, get some kills. Keep our fingers crossed. Yet again, sort of quite another slow start to things here, really. Not seeing too much early aggression here. CSK is going to move in here with the shield across rafters, but they're going to be immediately met with a shield on the defensive side. That, of course, being the clash of Fantasy. In the face of the attackers, immediately right off the bat, just feeding the intel through, looking to sort of play the life here, not give anything away. Zati's tasked with watching the flank here. You can see the amount of resources being applied to this top floor here by Honvéd. The game plan is key, or is it's evident really what their goal is here. They want to slow this attack down, sort of get it dead in the water before it's even really started. Obviously, drone's coming through, and do they know that Joker's gotten himself through storage and on a flank? Do they have any idea? Well, the flank might not even be needed. Juzao's going to find CSK here. Krex does indeed reveal the player behind them, does take down Joker. Leaves us in a 4 versus 4 here. Good intentions, stalling out a little bit, wondering how they want to change the approach here, because walking in towards this command is just beating certain death for them. Drills is going to go down here. Top pressure being applied now towards top blue. All 3 players stacked outside this doorway. Atties behind the shield. Takes down 1. Can't find any more than that, but there's Juzao with 2 of his own. And Honvéd, what a shutdown on that attack there. Not even letting good intentions get inside of the building, really. Great stuff from them. Great start to it. Good intentions. The aggressive plays that we saw quite a few of on the defense. Not working out. Not really being too successful there. And, you know, it just, across the board there, that just wasn't the best for the side of... Of course. Greatest. But you know what? That's what more rounds are for. Hopefully, we can have another overtime. We're going to manifest it here. You'll all join me in doing so. Overtime is goal here. It'll be 3 maps of 15 rounds. Pretty please. What we like to see. We'd like to see the close games. Speaking of close games, well, there have been some not so close games coming on through. Map number 1's going the ways of 7-1s, 7-3s, 7-2s. If you do want to, exclamation mark bracket will take you through to all of the games being played tonight. You can see where everyone's currently standing. It'll be updated on a map by map basis. So if you do want to see, of course, who's winning map, who's winning rounds, you should be able to go and see it all there on the challenger mode, of course. And there's plenty of other community casters here plenty of action to be covering the whole way through tonight, of course. Best of threes, 8 of them being played right now. 5 of them being covered, I believe. So plenty of action going all around here. I think that's not really been action for throughout the entire of this game, really. Is the early round. It's been very, very quiet starts. Both of these teams on the attack. Not really. We're not normally seeing a pick at about the average halfway point of the round now. As I say that, Doju going to take some damage, and I don't want to sort of cast the curse it into reality. Good intentions, sort of clear through this top floor now. Look above. Try, fine, think it's through. Yuzao now going to be reclaims land here for the side of Honvéd. I mean, there's a lot of presence on this first floor here. 3 operators playing upstairs, yet again supported by the Clash of Fantasy. And if it continues to be problematic for Good Intentions, how much do you reckon they have to then start to look in towards picking Clash Ban going in towards the next map? Of course, Honvéd relying on these shields extensively throughout everything they do. Yuzao, do you know how close the players are? Well, you certainly do now. No choice here. Wants to hold the angle, wants to find the drone. You've got to decide what you want to do. You've got the vertical weighing in upon you. You've got the players on the horizontal. No choice there but to retreat, really. Good intentions. Good use of pressure. Force the player out. Yet again, good intentions. They've got a minute to go, and they're still trying to chase out these players off the top floor here. You can see Fantasy's got the better idea. Retreated towards the basement, and that's the opener that is needed there for Good Intentions. Drill's going to be taking down Atties. Exactly what was needed there for Good Intentions. They're just going to have to play around the knowledge that Yuzao is still up and about on the run. Do they have any idea? Yuzao's got no idea. There's one over there in IT. Just going to run straight into Krex with his 11th one of the game. And a roam play that could have been disastrous for the attack. Falls flat on its face a little bit. There's now Good Intentions to start to look towards the site here, but 30 seconds to go. Going to have to use all of this utility and everything they've got to go in towards the pocket here. 20 seconds to go. Clock's ticking away. This Crash may be able to play something in the end of this round here, but it doesn't mean you've got one less gun on the side of Honvéd. We can see Headset's not even facing the objective itself. The kit is going to be going down. Unable to really formulate a response here. C4 is going to be ripped and tossed, but shot out of the air. And that's it. Joker and Fantasy walk straight into their demise. Headset as well. And Good Intentions. Well, how about that? Answer it back with a full, flawless round. Keep things level. 4-4. What about that, eh? 4-4. Good Intentions, much better round from them. It was a little bit slow, for sure. Definitely took them a little while to get there. But it matters not. It doesn't matter how long you get there. It doesn't matter about the journey. Also in Siege, it's about the destination itself. That, of course, being the round win. Great attack. Honvéd going to be giving this basement a second go around. This time, though, bringing out the Scopos in place of that Clash. An operator we've seen quite a bit of, actually, lately, especially from Honvéd yesterday. They do quite like a bit of Scopos action. Of course, especially on large maps, you know, not even Lab being quite a big map itself. Being able to teleport across it, essentially, makes her such a valuable operator, such a great sort of person to bring along to these maps. No surprise that is she going to be seeing her again. So they're going to be giving this basement a second go around. Honvéd going to, of course, be looking to try and get a kill on the board this time. And for the first time this game, it's probably going to be seeing Aurora being brought out here. Of course, Aurora, one of these newer additions to the game, the newest one, rather. And, well, that's the Maverick taking off the board. Unfortunately, CXK is just not going any better for you, my friend. 0-8 currently. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's not a great start, and it just goes from bad to worse. Fancy finds Krex as well. And oh no, this attack might be dead in the water before it's even started here. Breaches can get opened up here by the side of Good Intentions. But they're going to have to push this objective in a 3 versus 5. Push is exactly what they're going to be doing here. And Rora, you could apply her here. If you can get one on either of the doors of this main bomb site, you'll just be able to lock out the defenders here, at least temporarily. Going to do a lot of damage. Take down Joker, and here comes the Dom panels here. Going to fire one on the first door. And then suddenly it becomes really, really difficult for the defense to try and retake this one. 3 doors, of course, to cover. But they have to get the players into the objective. Drills is going to fall. Eliza going to be taken down. Headset It's 2 versus 3. There's no way Good Intentions recover this one. Surely not, but the Aurora put into masterful use here, locking down the defenders, restricting their pathways, walking them wide into the gun sites. But it doesn't matter, they're losing. The players, they're winning out what they need to on the defensive side. It's all on the shoulders of Wizard, who finds one, looking for the second, has to get this player on the plant, sees them, finds it with the new pistol, and suddenly we're in a 1 versus 1. They're going to swing, they're going to find it, and it is Honvéd. They take the round. Oh my lord, what a back and forth one. It should not have been that close by any means. What a round from Good Intentions. And I firmly believe that if they would have gone into that with maybe a 4th or a 5th player still standing, that idea with the Aurora, that's one of those objectives, that basement, I think she's going to be really useful. Didn't quite think about it until she was bought, and then it's like, oh, she's actually probably quite a good spot for that basement. Definitely was making things difficult for the defensive retake, but Honvéd 2 successfully pop it off as this game's really spicy. Still taking a sip of water here because this one is going all over the place, but it's still staying quite close. Honvéd yet again take the lead. 5-4 now. And keep in mind, folks, top right of your screen, this is the map pick of Honvéd. Good Intentions, their map pick is the next one, of course, Cafe Dostoevsky we will be heading to. As our second map, Chalet will be our decider, should we need to go there. We might need to go there, we might not need to go there, I honestly don't know. With this team, these two teams so far, it's definitely been another close game here. Honvéd, both days really not having an easy one, having to go sort of brawl through anything and everything to get the wins where they're getting them. And Good Intentions, similar sort of case yesterday. This one was, of course, over on Amgun's stream yesterday. The Nighthaven Labs that Good Intentions played, lost it 7-8 in overtime, and then won the next 2 maps 7-1, 7-1. So, just because this series is starting out close doesn't mean that I think it's going to be just staying close all the way if Good Intentions game yesterday was anything to go by. Ooh, Wizard. Sprayed on a little bit there by Juzal. Not going to be able to find the elimination. Still hiding in storage. Still playing that pressure spot here. A bit of an X factor here that the attack needs to try and deal with. Really what I need to know right now. 2 minutes left to go in this round. All 10 players still left standing. There's the attack slowly just edge towards this objective here, slowly getting their way on in. Only edging up close here, taking out the utility. At least that external connectable shall be able to get opened up by now. But the next question mark, the next difficulty comes on clearing out this mirror window. Ash utility is going to be good for it. Finds it C4 thrown, does find its mark. CSK gets taken down. Bill's now the one charging the assault here. Leads it straight to connector. Going in first with Deimos. All 3 death marks still in pocket, still able to be used. But it's to charge in towards Electrical. That finds success here for Good Intentions. Brex takes down Fantasy. Juiceout pulls as well. Forcing the player out from behind the keeper with the frag grenade there. Wizard's going to find headset. And the defense just suddenly collapsed just like that. Atties and Joker. Well, Atties answers one back. Elizal first get taken down. 2 versus 3, but it's made a 1 versus 3 here. All on the shoulders of Atties here. The pain of the world on your shoulders. What can you do? They know where you are. They're just going to be sticking this plant down. The cover should be good. Got the cross, and it is going to be. Wizard finds it out. Going to be Good Intentions yet again. Tying things up 5-5. What about that? 5 on 5, and we go back towards this top floor yet again. And this one is going to be spicy because, of course, whoever wins this will be getting that ever so desired map point. That one is very desired indeed. You want that map point. You want to be getting that map point first. You want to close this out in regulation. Of course, best of 3. You got 2 best of 3s to play tomorrow, as well as 1 on Sunday, possibly as well. Sorry, I'm not used to having chat A being active. Chat's normally quite delayed. It's still weird. Rennie is observing today. Please do give her some appreciation. Go drop her a follow, exclamation mark observer. She's doing a great job, not only on the sticks, observing today, but also meaning you don't have to have a delay. So, massive thanks for Rennie. Much appreciated. And yeah, it's really weird having the chat like live here. It is still weird. Distracted. Anyway, back onto the game at hand. Of course, do appreciate you all having you all in here, and I'm sure you're all cheering on what I believe to be a lot of your guys' friends here. So, sure they'll appreciate having you watching them on, cheering them on, or yeah, having a good time. We'll put it that way. We'll put it this way. We're having a good old time in here. Of course, round number 11 games getting a little bit spicy now. It's only been the part where either one of these teams has really been able to get comfortable throughout the entirety of this series, or this map so far, rather. It's always been blow for blow, back and forth. This thing's quite exciting here. Obviously, rounds themselves, for the most part, have been quite slower, but Good Intentions making real quick time here, taking out the mirror window, only a minute in towards the round here. Mid-round reinforcement going to be attempted by Headset, should be able to be stuck. Use out 9 the death mark here by going onto that Mute. Have a great use of utility, bit of counterplay there. Mute having a real X factor so far in this game, quite a few times now. I think that's like the third or fourth time I've seen that Mute utility coming clutch for a player or a breach. Getting saved through, but it's not going to slow down Honvéd for that long. It's not going to slow Good Intentions down for that long, sorry. Making rapid progress on towards the site here, just leaving Wizard on the flank watch. Do still have a lot of those air jabs in pockets. Maybe apply one of those so you can put the Ash towards the objective. But they'll obviously know better than I do here. Crack's going to be moving around here. Pressure on towards rafters. Final minute of this round looms here. An ultimate round of regulation. Who's going to be taking the lead here? Great stuff here for Drills. You see the left side of your screen. It has all 5 defenders identified successfully. So we'll be able to find anyone needed. And I like this position here from Headset. Play it close to the breach, catch anyone coming in. Joker's down below with a C4. Honvéd still got these really good positions. I don't know if Good Intentions are aware of every single one of them here. That could be a dangerous one. Headset hiding in the corner. Joker, no choice but to retreat really now. Fancy spraying to it towards the player. But they can't quite find it just as of yet. Air jab's going to come in. Not going to hit its mark here. You see Headset's getting itchy, wants to try and find something. Going to be cornered by that Ash charge, but it's not targeted him. It's targeted the barbed wire. And if anyone moves for IT, they're surely dead. But the only person dead in IT is going to be Headset. Krex finds it, opens up the round, but with 20 seconds to go, this attack has to move in quickly here. CSK is down, revived momentarily. And now it's a 5 versus 4 here. The attack just needs to push in. But the defense, they have these good positions held. Krex is going to fall. Juzu's going to find another. The remaining players have Good Intentions. You've got 5 seconds. You need to get yourselves in the building here. You need to get yourselves planting that kit down. The cut, but there's a flank. There's one behind, but it's traded back immediately. The air jab comes in clutch. Joker going to be taking a lot of damage, and the kit is successfully stuck down. The air jab's saving everyone's skin there in the final few seconds of the round. Atty's required to try and 1 versus 2 this. CSK does find the elimination. Question is, do you go for the revive or do you go for the elimination? That's the question here. Juzao in a risky position, but decides to play this one out with the teammate. That gives Drills an opportunity to relocate, and more importantly, more of that time here being burnt here for the defensive. 1 tap from Drills, and a second one at that. Good Intentions take map point here on Nighthaven Labs. Beautiful 1 tap. Could have been a second as well. Look at that. Good Intentions bringing it down properly to the wire with the clock, that one, but it doesn't matter. They get the job done. They get it down. And they find themselves 1 round away from taking Nighthaven Labs, taking their opponent's map pick. Well. Look out, we've got quite a few players actually here. We've got 3 players in this lobby so far, sitting on double digits. They've skilled Juice out over on the side of Honvéd. Then Krex and Grills on the side of Good Intentions, sitting over on 10, 14 or 13 kills each. So really putting in some numbers there, some of the players in this lobby here, doing a great job of keeping those entry engagements alive and still putting in a good show. course, now heading back towards control storage. Honvéd believe that's going to be the one that gives them the best shot here at bringing things over in towards overtime here. And of course, on their own map pick, they don't want to be losing it. They need to be getting it over. Good intentions to be bringing a slightly different lineup for CSK. I'm going to drop the gun. I mean, it's not had the best game on eliminations so far, so you know what? Why not drop the gun, bring up a shield? It's a good way to use the player, still make use of it if the shots just aren't quite hitting today. It happens to the best of us at times, you know. Can't say it doesn't. No, come on the shield instead. See what the shield can do. Fontaine and the shields as a whole really proving useful for Honvéd, and Good Intentions looking to find some of that same success here on their final regulation attack. Tinker LMG as well. This one's going to be applying a lot of pressure on these defenders, but they need to clear out this extended hold here first. Fantasy on the roam above. Control that vertical. Headset as well supporting. Wait. 2 minutes on the clock now. Wizard could be creeping in here through Animus here. Trying to sneak their way in towards that first floor, sneak their way upstairs. Yet again, another slow one here for Good Intentions here. Still quite a lot of them outside the building, just sort of hanging about, trying to find openings. It's a valid way to play it. I mean, it worked for them last time, so you can't say it wouldn't work for them again. But Wizard looking to make the engagement here. This is going to be the important one. Does Atis have any idea? No, he does not. He's going to drop, and that's the opener needed there for Good Intentions. Here comes Juzao looking for the response. They have the idea that the player's there, but elsewhere, there's players on the side of Honvéd collapsing. Fantasy is going to go down to drills. CSK now going to be eyeing up to plant that diffuser. The Warden is still in play. Could make it work as Headset takes them down with the SMG-11. And here comes Joker trying to hold the players off on the hop in here. Does find Krex. 3 versus 3 now, but look at this. Headset's been able to keep the vertical under control here for the side of Honvéd. Meaning Good Intentions is going to struggle to try and stick the diffuser in this situation. Drills and Wizard duo have to clutch up here. Drill's taking a lot of damage. And at that point, the Legion can just run away, wait it out. 45 seconds to go. C4 is going to be ripped and tossed. Isn't quite going to hit its mark. And well, Yuzu takes down Drills. It's all on the shoulders of Wizard here to pull out a 1 versus 3 to deny us overtime. Honvéd looking almost certain to bring us all the way, requiring at least 14 rounds of this Labs. Here the player above. No, the other two are likely on the same floor, but you have to try and isolate the engagements here. The hop-in's been found, it's been heard, and Joker finds it, and we are going to overtime. This one needing to go all the way. And what about that? A little treat for us all. Map 1 overtime. And a tactical timeout here called by Honvéd. Interestingly enough, one thing I will just overall comment on is we don't typically see a lot of timeouts coming in lately in the qualifiers, at least from the games I've been watching throughout open quals and through here yesterday. So Honvéd are the only team so far that seems to be consistently calling these timeouts. And they do typically make them work. They do typically get a good amount of value out of these tactical timeouts, typically speaking. So it's, you know, why not keep calling them? They are working for you here. And Honvéd, most players actually on the team really sort of, you know, obviously Juzao is leading it in the frag department. Everyone else is kind of just a bit behind the 1 KD mark. And I think that's where they need to step up here. And of course, over on the side of Good Intentions, you've got a couple of 3 players, I believe, now with over 10 kills or over. Of course, I'll be looking to some players, you know, to get themselves really stuck into this game, because that's going to separate your team. That's really going to bring you up and further forwards. You need to be making a bit more of a difference, but sometimes you just have an off map. It happens. I don't want to keep putting CSK down for it. You have a bad map, it does happen on occasion. The key is, and the real part, what I'll be looking for is go into the next one with a refresh mentality. You're not thinking about the performance you've just had here on Labs. And instead, you're just going to be going on to the next game. Reset mindset, going onwards and forwards. Nice overtime as well. course now. Next 3 rounds going to be deciding the fate of this match here. Neither team wanting to give it away from them. Of course, Honvéd will have the expectations on them. It is their map pick choice after all. Hope is that they should be able to claim it themselves. But that's only a hope. That's not certainty until we see it. Good intentions. Their attacking lineup. Quite interesting to see Slent being brought for the first time here since, well, the entirety of this series here. Of course, their RAU projectors can really do some great job of dissecting these maps, sort of cutting off cornerways and restricting movement. So, great pick. Curious to see how they're going to be playing out for this one. Of course, have just let time do the talking and see exactly what happens here. Of course, good intention. Going to need to be clearing out these top 4 players on quite an extended hold here. Juzal's definitely in a risky position here, obviously, all the way up on the Azami. Joker less so on the Scopos. Obviously, the minute you get to get heated, you retreat, just teleport away. But Juzal going to be playing with his life here. Has to make sure to find the eliminations. They're going to have the idea on the player, see the player below, finds drills, takes them down. Wanted to challenge the player outside of the IT breach, but not going to find the shots. Just instead going to retreat back. And you can see Atties has come up to support as well, top of blue stairs. And that's the Deimos taken down early. And if you don't want to lose an operator on the roam clear, it's definitely the Deimos that you don't want to be losing. That's a massive blow there to the side of good intentions. That is, do you have any idea how close the player is on your right? And they have a rough idea, a rough feeling of it. Not for the time being, as Krex working his way through cafeteria. A bit of a maze of keeper barricades. Krex getting on closer. Sees the head of the Valkyrie, sprays back and forth, charging it up with the LMG. No choice here for Atties to retreat, but going to run straight into CSK. Finds the elimination. Sprays coming out from Juzal now, retreating to the basement, but Joker is still in control room here. Do they have any idea on the side of good intentions that this Scopos is still lurking about? I don't think they do. As one's just going to walk straight into it like that. Wizard's going to fall. Joker still has the safe shell elsewhere on the map. Going to use exactly that to retreat back down into the basement there. And just like that, gone like sun at nightfall. Takes him down. It's a forced out of cover behind Animus there, but if frag grenade taken down by Krex. Ties things back out. 3 versus 3 for the remainder, but look at the clock at the top of your screen. 15 seconds to go here. Not much time here. Charge down the stairs. Krex with the LMG in hand. Do they know where the players are? They see the traces from his army. Find Juzal. But CSK goes down here. And the clock might just be the one to deal the blow here. The fuse is going down. C4's tossed. And the C4 deals the blow. Fantasy finds it. And Honvéd get themselves up onto map point here for the first time on Labs. And would you look at that? Honvéd taking the lead for what feels like the first time in a little while here. They're finally back on top on their own map pick nonetheless. Good intentions. Now going to need 2 in a row to take this one back all the way to maximum over, or to take this map, sorry. 1 to guarantee us going to maximum overtime.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
This is always the challenge round. You know, you obviously got the side swap every round here in side swap every single round here in overtime. Obviously, it's a bit of a challenge to keep changing up the game here because CG, it's almost like two entirely different games here as you go onwards towards sort of that maximum point, rather. It's an entirely different game on the change of things. So, good intentions. How do they adapt now? Going back onto the defense. Let's head through to things here. Good intentions. Need to recover themselves. Defensive lineup looking back to what we've seen before. We've seen this from them plenty of times. And Krex, sorry, going to be starting things off there. Takes down Addies, takes down the IQ. The IQ and Valkyrie, 2 operators that, well, one support to deal with the other. Unfortunately, the IQ is not going to be able to do so. Now, people, please be nice in the chat because I have different buttons here. Be nice. all I'll say. Hold on. Work out how to do this. How do I do this? How do I do this? Be nice. I'll work it out. As you can tell, professional caster in chat. Be nice. Anyway, back to the game at hand here. Juice out. Going to be moving up the stairs here towards the rafters. Using the free look. Got out to mine here. Shield needing to push onwards and forwards here. See Damos down below on the death mark. Going through and look at that, they can see it. They've got the mark from the death mark here. Use that now. Eyeing up the objective here, looking to try and take this one. The C4 thrown does a little bit of damage here. Instead, the rotation from the Montaigne is going to be coming through. Going to be looking towards top blue instead, it seems, as it's all on the shoulders of Joker to try and recover this and bring it through here. Honvéd looking a little bit stuck almost here, struggling to try and find a way into this one. Player outside this IT breach, still yet to get themselves anywhere near the building, still being challenged by CSK. Flashbang going to be taken onto this warden now, but it's not going to affect them. But what will affect them is the bullets. The sandwich from behind, Joker finds it. Drills goes down. We're back to a 4 versus 4 here. Honvéd looking a little bit back towards the water pace we'd expect to see from them now. Looking right back on course here. But 45 seconds to go, 4 versus 4. The attack, going to need to try and find something here to open this one up. Pressure coming from the shield. CSK is going to be going down to Fancy there. Eli's out. These players outside towards rafters, a lot there. C4 can make some massive impact. You're going to hear my words, going to throw it out, but the players of Honvéd, they retreat, they back away. Shotgun going to be in hand. Krex takes down Joker here. And that's the 15-second warning here. Honvéd, you have to get a move on here. You have to swing it, but it's not going to happen. And Isal's going to find one. Wizard's going to find Juzao, and Wizard finds a second, and heads it just like that. We are going all the way to 15 here on Nighthaven Labs as people, they just cannot be separated, these two teams. Ooh, press the button. Oh, button. Hit a button. Cool. There we go. Okay, right. We're back into things, of course, here. I apologise. Trying to sort out the
Defenders, protect your bomb
behave. Anyway.
being defused.
Oh yeah, I don't have to tab back into the game. I'm panicking. Oh, yeah, I've got to tab back in. No, I don't.
Bomb located
Ooh,
by
there's
attackers.
so many buttons here on Twitch. You can tell I do a lot of Twitch streaming because I really don't know what buttons I'm clicking here, really. Edit stream manager. Oh, I can't do this thing. Okay. That. Well, that's... Okay, that's not... You know what? I'm not going to edit that. I'm going to leave that for the time being. Back to the game. Maximum overtime going to be required between these two teams here to try and settle Nighthaven Labs out. Honvéd, they're going to be wanting to take their own map pick here, and I think regardless of what comes next, they're going to be slightly concerned that they've had to go all the way to overtime on this one. It's not where you really want to be on your own map pick. You want to be taking it in a more dominant fashion here, and yet again, just really struggling to do so. Honvéd, it's not great. Oh gosh, my friend. Feel out, please. Anyway, elimination going to be starting off here. Wizard going to be taking down Juzao. First one of his pick here. It's going to be a good start here for good intentions, but they're going to need to try and work things through. Joker going to be spraying onwards through. Taking players down, taking out the drones. Spraying on through Joker. Still applying a lot of pressure from this Scopos here. Honvéd as well, using this clash to keep that pressure mounted up. With 4 versus 4 here, just over halfway of the round left to go. But Prex continuing to put up numbers here, takes down Atties. Takes down a second idle shell as well. Denying the retreat option of the Scopos, but what he's unable to deny is headset from below. Keeping things back level, 3 versus 3 here. Would you look at that? The kitchen site, the one we never really ever see. It might be working out here for Honvéd. This may be one of the first rounds we've ever casted of it. And would you look at that? It's working out here for the side of good Honvéd rather. They're all just safely sort of hidden behind the clash, rotating back towards site as good intentions. Try to pick up the pieces, pick up the diffuser. A minute left to go. The vertical is opened. They've got breaches available to them. They've still got a Selma in pocket as well to open up more. Still have to wait and see here. Going to be used on the mirror window. Wise call to make there. And all Honvéd have to do is hold on here. Utility has been burnt, so it's going to be all on the guns and the shield. Couple flashbangs remain for the side of good intentions here. 35 seconds remain. 3 on 3. And it seems like we're going to be seeing a very horizontal push in. Drill's going to be moving in, tagged up by one of those Banshee devices here as headsets outside the objective. The remaining players of Honvéd play from within it. Joker needed to get aggressive off the back of that flashbang. Can't quite find the picks. Wizard saving the day. And that gives Fantasy the cue to get aggressive here. Honvéd, they need to try and isolate 1 or 2 of these players to try and get it, but they're unable to do so. While they're dancing around with this ace, the kit is going down, and now they can play the post plant here. Good intentions, just need to hide and wait outside. Honvéd, he's kind of slipped under their nose a little bit there. Kit's gone down, and look at that, the upside down rappel. Clash might be able to protect you for a little bit, but it won't be able to cover the entirety of that space. You're going to need to try and do something here. Going to be attempting it from behind the clash here. They just need to find the perfect angle. Will he be able to stick it? That's the question. They're going to send a player in. They take down the player. They take down the clash. And good intentions take the map. Number 1 going their way. And it's going to be good intentions stealing their opponent's map pick from them. Nighthaven Labs. 15 were required, but it's good intentions to come out on top here. And they will be finding themselves up 1-0 in this series. What a play at that. What a game. What a way to kick things off here for map number 1. A spicy one indeed. And with that being said, I'm gonna pull up. I pull that up. All that does then, there you go. You can have a look at the scoreboard there. So yeah, if you want to have a quick look at that one yet again, there you go. I'm not getting called Dofty. Apparently I look like Dofty. Someone said that. Hey, do I need a break. I need some more water. Run out of a bottle of water is empty. Anyway, we are going to head back towards the desk there as we get ready for the next game. Map number 2 is going to be Cafe Dostoevsky, the map pick of good intentions. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes for you all, so don't go anywhere. Who is Dofsy? If I get it, okay, right, I'm guessing I'm going to find it on Twitter. I don't see it. I don't think... I'm going to assume... Hold on. I'm going to pull this up here. Hold on. I don't see it. I think I've got the right person here. I think. I don't see it. But it looks worse. No one clip it because I've not got chat on the screen, so it looks like I'm just going. It just looks like I'm just going crazy. I'm going to throw it to a break before I dig myself in a deeper hole. We'll be back in a couple of minutes, folks. Don't go anywhere.
You could call me selfish and critical, I could take the blame. Just like I could take a match and send it up in flames. Don't say I didn't want ya. This might hurt, but that's just karma. Better take that. Call it payback. Don't say I didn't want ya. Stay mad, I know you wanna. This might hurt, but that's just karma. That's just karma. Go and play the part, play the victim. Throw a pity party with your demons. Blaming everybody and yourself.
better take that. Call it payback. Don't say I didn't warn ya. Stay mad, I know you wanna. This might hurt, but that's just karma. That's just karma. Fought too hard and let it die. Better say our last goodbyes. Oh, come back, never come back. I don't need ya, I don't want that. Hold on to nothing. That's just karma. That's just karma. Don't say I didn't warn ya. Stay mad, I know you wanna. This might hurt, but that's just karma. Came in and you're looking like a sign of grace. I know, but I can never match your name or face. My fault, I didn't notice it was out of place. You painting fairy tales on the wall, calling to the better of the halves of me. Please show me just a little bit of honesty. I'd hope I got a heart that I can salvage, but it's getting harder now to recall. I know well what let out both dry. You could have anything you wanted it all for your fool's gold. And I know well why deaf and half blind. You could get anything you wanted, yeah, I would have handed it all over, falling for you. Came in and you're looking like a sign of grace. I know, but I can never match your name to face. My fault, but when I noticed it was far too late, you left a fingerprint on my soul.
Hi! I have no better way of segueing back into this one. Welcome back, folks. Challengers group stage here over for Europe MENA League. Been treated to quite a bit of a banger map one there, with, of course, Good Intentions just barely edging it out over Honvéd there with the win there. 8-7 was the scoreline. Close one. But, of course, Honvéd, they're going to be looking for a bit of a reverse sweep now. Going in towards map number 2, of course, that indeed is going to be Cafe Dostoyevsky. Curious to see how that one's going to play out. Of course, a very different map with very different requirements of these teams. So it'll be interesting, to say the least. Of course, how things are going to go through, we don't know, is the honest answer. We don't know. For it was very little separating these two teams on that previous map. So, of course, as we head in towards map number 3 here, we're going to be looking for different a bit of a different result here, of course, for the side of Honvéd. For good intentions fans in chat, which I think we've got a few of you, there's going to be, of course, you're going to be looking for a 2-0 here. Of course, predictions are live. I think there's quite a few of you sort of floating around the chat here, so go and do the predictions. That's all I've got to say. I know most of you will probably be only here once. But it's a good bit of fun, so go and do the predictions. Go and put some points. If you put 10 on Honvéd, you might win everyone else back. So go click that thing at the top of the chat, put some points on it. There's nothing to win. You can change the sign behind me if you've got enough points. Currently says do your Wordle. I don't know if that's about do your Wordle. So, that one. So, we're back here for a bit of a chat before the next map because there will be a little bit of a break in between it. So, we're just going to sit here. We're going to have another little bit of a chill. And Hanif, thank you very much for keeping me on the hot seat, keeping me up to date with the questions. Get there. I'm just very, very quickly going to throw things over towards the bracket update. So, if you don't want spoilers, you've got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here are your spoilers for how tonight is currently going here. As you can see, this is where we're standing at the minute. Every game has finished their first map. This is what things are looking like here. Las Galerians are taking a map over Matchco. Twisted Minds taking a map over P45. Good Intentions taking over Honvéd. Wild taking over Onyx Ravens. EK taking a map over Planetesium Tifi. Bandipuco taking a map over Go Next. Myth taking a map over Passion. And M&M Academy taking a map over Wisteria. So that is where we're standing in the bracket of the things. I'll give you a couple of seconds. I can make it slightly larger. There you are. That's where we're standing. So I'll leave that up there for a minute for you folks to sort of digest that one, see how we're going on. So, of course, kind of top 3 transfers. Now, I'm going to get straight to Wikipedia for that one because I would quite like to. It might just be helpful to have it all in front of me. I'm going to go for reload just because this is where most tier 1 teams will be. Top 3 transfers of the off-season. Oh, I think this new BDS roster could be cooking. I think especially after what happened with Virtue, after what happened with Virtue, after the whole Team Secret thing at SI25 rather. So if you go 3-0, you are straight through. Yes, Swiss Sage. As soon as you win 3 games, you're through. As soon as you lose 3 games, you're out. That's basically the general rule of thumb. Yeah, so that's what happened with Virtue. I'm glad to see him found his foot in this team. I think it could actually be quite a good team. Obviously, very strong teams in Europe. Obviously, you've got Falcons, BP. Have I ever coupled in? Okay, look, I'm gonna put this out here as a little bit of a hot take here. I'm not a ranked person. I'm not a ranked person. I'm a quick match player. I'm a quick match enjoyer. I don't like ranked. Don't ask me why that cast competitive. I don't like playing ranked. I don't really know. But yeah, I'm a great news. Map started. We're 4 minutes out. There is a delay on the side of the feed. So we are 4 minutes out. So don't worry. The game's not going anywhere. I'm not making you look at team logos here. Who else has done really good rosters? His new DZ roster could definitely be. Lost Bolo, picked up Spirits. Anyone I think would be at Dream on Cloud9. Now, I'm looking at the rest of that roster. I don't know a lot about Gitty and Silent, but obviously Kobe, Packer, and Dream, they've definitely got a lot of potential, the 3 of them. Obviously, those two are actually quite younger, I believe. So, they're certainly going to be keeping my eye out for them. Yeah, so there's good teams, obviously. Reload event. I want to ask you all, actually, what do you all think of the format? Obviously, let me just pull up the reload format. Because there was that format post that came out about a week and a little bit ago now. And as you can imagine, when we started talking about like 1v1s and like chicken cards, I can't lie, I got a bit lost. There. Hello to W7M. Yes, that is one I completely blanked about. W7M. Harloon, Bolt, Lobin, Dot, Dodes. That's a killer roster there. I like the sound of that one. Brazil, I mean, it's no surprise. It is Brazil. Brazil is looking really, really strong. Obviously loud, picking up the old, was it Raza Company? I think it was the Raza Company. It was Raza Company, wasn't it? That loud have picked up most stuff of. So, yeah, so Brazil's going to be very interesting. Obviously, I don't think everyone's going to be taking it 100% just because, obviously, it's got this funky reloading thing in on it. where you can obviously like reload, you've got these cards. It's going to be a fun tournament to watch. Most competitive tournament, probably not. But if you ask me, I wasn't expecting it to be competitive in the sense of it was one of these tournaments where the Rio event is about a month away. It is there's a date on it somewhere. I'll tell you that. No, 22. Computer. May. There we go. There you go. So those are the dates for Reload for you. So it's middle of May, so about a month away from now. Actually, just bang on a month away from now. So it's going to be an exciting one. I definitely think it's going to be interesting to see how it sort of happens without the of course, the other team, everyone taking it 100% because it's on CJX, I believe, the entirety of the way through. So as a result of that, who knows what's going to happen. It's going to be a spicy event. I don't think it's going to be the most competitive event we're ever going to see. I'd rather a major, but I'm not allowed to wish. Obviously, we get given what we're allowed. So yeah, so it's going to be a spicy one. It's going to be a fun one. I'll tell you that one. There's not much more to that event, obviously. It's only partnered teams, obviously, as well. So, you know, Shopify, for example, with Spoit, roster that I really want to see. Not going to be seeing any of them. Who else are we not going to be seeing any of? Who else? Twisted Minds, not going to be seeing there. Yeah, it's... I like the idea of it from a viewer perspective. I think, especially with the audience that's coming into the game lately, especially off like the back of Jinxie and that, I think it's an event that's more of a viewer spectacle is a good idea in my mind. Should it have taken away from a major? I don't think it should have. But as a whole, I think I'd be surprised, you know, if we end up with, let's say, I don't know, it won't be a Spoit one. Spoit's not playing. But like, if we end up with, like, I don't know, you know, Shaiko in these massive 1v1s, I'm sure you all know how popular those are at the minute on Twitch and across the board. So, it's going to be spicy. It's going to be fun. But speaking of spicy, speaking of fun, game number 2, map number 2 is on our hands. Cafe Dostoyevsky is here. Good Intentions taking map number 1 just barely 8-7. And of course, we now look towards map number 2 to see whether Honvéd are going to be able to take us all the way to Chalet, or whether this one ends here and now on Cafe. Just, of course, get a little bit of admin out the way just while the operator bands do roll on in. There are plenty of other streams available, so do go check it out. Do go browse around. I'm not going to be offended if you want to go and watch one of the other games. Of course, there's plenty on tonight, plenty of action coming through. So, of course, do go around, go and see who's streaming what. I believe there's like 5 streams going tonight. Match Coles Galerians, P45 Twisted Minds, Wild Onyx Ravens, Vanciti Retifi, Geek8. They're all being streamed as well as this game as well, obviously. So do go watch them as well. As well tonight, observing is, of course, the amazing Rennie. So please do go give her a follow. Massively appreciated her doing a great job on the observing work so far. And, of course, means I can be here without a delay, which is proving a lot of fun here. Because it means I can get flamed by chat. Is there anything else I want to say? Oh, yeah. I'm going to do a... Actually, you know what? I'll save that for after the game. I was going to do the same self-promo plug of the socials, but... Oh, hold off. We'll save it till the end of the game. We'll save it till all is said and done here. So, what does Cafe Dostoyevsky have to offer us? That is going to be the question here. Honvéd going to be starting off on the defensive side. Definitely one that they've proven favourable on. Good intention. So, there, no slackers on the attack themselves. Dodo. Intentions. Where is Dodo? I don't know. Is that memory? Dodo wasn't here yesterday either, actually. Pass, pupil. Pass. And also, predictions are above. We're currently neck and neck in predictions right now. So, of course, please do go throw some channel points at it because it's all in the good name. It's all a little bit of fun. You like to see some good little bits of these prediction wars coming in. Always good. Always good fun. And I think with all the admin stuff, Moni stuff out the way, that is, of course, going to be one of those where you'll have to wait and see through. Drills going to be starting off, as always, with Cafe Dostoyevsky making your way to the top here. all the way through to the tippy top of Cafe, as always is with Cafe. You start up, you work your way down towards the bottom here. That's going to be the goal. That's going to be the way through. Have to be working your way down. So, and yet again, if you're going to play it like Nighthaven Labs, we're very likely to have a slow map. Because Nighthaven Labs was quite an incredibly slow map. A lot of late end rounds executes coming in from both sides. No surprise that Cafe, at least so far, is starting off the same way. We're a minute in, all 10 players still left standing, but CSK might want to change that up a little bit. Going to be jumping down on towards red with the Montaigne. Doing a lot of good stuff at the minute to burn those toxic babes early on. See here, Joker. What's at the feet? They know the Montaigne's in there, but the question is, how do you move him? Well, I suppose for Honvéd, they're quite happy to leave him in there. When he doesn't get any further forwards, it's quite comfortable to chill in here. Quite comfortable to chill and hide. Uzo, going to be the first one to fall there for Wizard. Takes them down here. Start things off back to 4 versus 4 here for remaining sort of minute 15 here on the round, on the clock. Correct. Now going to be getting out the X-Kairos here. Look at this. Look at how funneled this attack from good attention here. They're on their way to pop red, but really unable to get anything from it. Toxic Babes have finally been spent, so now they're going to have to be able to move in. Fantasy, he's being pressured by this Deimos, by this Death Mark. He's going to find the Deimos regardless. Drill's going to be taken down. Sure, there's a shield in your face, but at this point in time, you're quite happy to hide here. Cigar's still under the control of the attack as well. Joker takes down the X-Kairos, denying that ability to open. Here comes the shield, getting flanked from behind, stuck in between 2 players here. Surely not long for this world. CSK going to be going down, but here comes Elizal from behind to try and support the shield. And look at that, the Montaigne's still standing. Shotgun's not good for it. Headset left to try and support now, but you're in a 1 versus 3 with a shield staring down at you. How is shield up? Great question. I don't know the answer. Either way, it's going to be a really good early start for the side of Good Intentions. Honvéd unable to really capitalize. I think they had Good Intentions cornered for quite a good amount of time there. Really should have gotten that one. They had the shield cornered. They had the shield sandwiched in between 2 players. And just nothing really came of it. Which is the surprising part there. I think nothing really truly came of that one. So, as a result, it was just kind of a little bit difficult there for them.
Attackers need to locate
Well,
and defuse as many bombs as they can.
CSK definitely making good impact there on the Montaigne.
Hit by attackers.
Here and head towards round number 2. Good Intentions starting things off with a good early lead here. And yet again, thank you Liquipedia gods, because there are some absolute mad people at work. Very updating these stats game by game by game. Really appreciated, because it gives me numbers. 60% defender win rate so far on Chalet throughout all of yesterday's games. I don't believe it's updating with today's games as we go along. Oh, it is. No, it's not. It's not. I stand corrected. It's not. It's updating. It's updating scores. It's not updating rounds, I don't believe. So from yesterday's game, 60% defender win rate across every single team here. Of course, Honvéd, they did not play Cafe Dostoevsky yesterday, and in terms of Good Intentions, I believe they did. They did indeed play Cafe yesterday. 7-1 against Raijin. So, really great showing from them there on that Cafe. Is it a mistake maybe for Honvéd to let it slip through? Well, time will have to tell. Sure, it's only a 1-0 lead. Can't get too carried away with ourselves just yet, of course. Still very early days for this one. And Tom J. Sherlock with the raid. How are you doing? That was quick, Tom. What's that game? Quick one. How was the match? How are you all doing? Welcome on in, Raiders. We had a maximum overtime in map 1. An absolute banger. Hopefully things are going to be continuing here on into map number 2. Fingers crossed for you. 7-1, 7-4. Wild. Wow. That's a stat line and a half right there. Good job for Wild. Right then, welcome on in, everyone. Of course, sorry to hear your game ended so soon. It's always a shame, but I hope the stream was fun regardless. Hope you had a great evening and ready for some more action tomorrow, of course. Do best of 3s tomorrow. It's going to be spicy. It's going to be fun. And, well, speaking of spicy, look at this game we've got here on our hands. Good Intentions did have a great start, and started this round as such here. Mate, got themselves 5 versus 4. And while I'm at it, I'm sure most of you are, of course, already following Tom J. Sherlock. Absolutely wonderful human being, wonderful streamer. But if you're not already, A, what are you doing? B, go and get on that. Tom's lovely. Tom's entertaining. Do go drop Tom a follow. Anyway, we're just gonna melee through and... Oh, hello. Flash. Use out. Shields for Honvéd constantly in their face and, push him into the back of the grenade. Correct. What? Oh, that clash. Not in a good spot there indeed. Forced back into the grenade there. Stay your ground and die or walk backwards and get exploded. And I guess you took the latter of those options. Bravo Drone going to be hacking out those evil eyes. So, have to be taken out there by the impact here. Atty's looking to try and contest this top floor. Not going to be able to do so. So, instead, it's all going to be up. But look at this Joker. Gotten himself on the flank. However, that is leaving Headset alone on site. But it doesn't seem to really matter at this point. It's Joker. Found one. Looking to try and fish out for the second here. Does a lot of damage on towards Wizard, but not quite found near limb just yet. But, Wizard, where are you looking? Joker finds another, makes it even almost, but Headset does fall, and now you're stuck in a 1 versus 3. It's going to be going down here. Good intentions. No, they've got control of this one. Joker knows there's one playing close with the flashbang. No choice but to hide for a second. And now it's a game of the clock here for Honvéd. The time is ticking against them. Time is falling away. And all they can do is wait it, hold the angles. Drills is going to close it out. And good intentions. 2-0 lead here on Cafe Dostoyevsky. Great start from them. Really, really good start from them. And of course, thank you again, Tom, for the raid. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Whatever you do, raiders, of course, welcome on in, all of you. Thank you for all of you dropping the follows. Also, greatly appreciate it. Much love. Much appreciated. We're going to sort of doing a bit of a half cast, half chill vibe. It was meant to be a cast, and then chat got distracted. It is a very simple solution behind it, if being honest. Got distracted by the chat. So come on in, come say hi. Predictions, I believe. I don't know. Predictions might still be open or predictions closed. We don't know. Predictions. Predictions are closed. 50-50 in the polls here. It's 50 apiece. Okay. A lot closer than I thought here. I thought we had a lot of good intentions fans in chat, but obviously there's a couple of Honvéd supporters sitting around as well. It's always good to see. Bit of both. Love to see everyone getting comfortable here. There's a 2-0 games coming to an end there. And I believe that's the only game we've... Is that the only game finished so far? No, it's not. Twisted Minds have 2-0 P45 Company as well. That one ending quite quickly as well. Most games are amidst their second map, as are we now. And yeah, there's a lot of great players here. Honvéd watched yesterday, really great team, a lot of great players on there. Joker as well, as you say, just being one of them. Great performance last night. Juzak really stood out last night as well. Towards the end of things, really warmed up, and things seem to be continuing things on labs today, but of course the team as a whole falling ever so slightly short there. Only around the difference between the two. So, might find margins, but I don't know if the same can be said so far for Cafe, with Honvéd struggling at least on the defense to pick things off, and it highlighted 60% defender win rate across yesterday's qualifiers. Honvéd should really need to get a round over the line, and they need to do it sooner rather than later, really, because otherwise this one could slip away from them really, really quickly here. Good intentions played this yesterday. 7-1 was the scoreline. And when you look at that, letting it through the map veto today, it was a risk taken by Honvéd. Will it be punished? Well, Fancy to be forced out at least a little bit by this shield, but it's going to be Joker to be forced entirely out of the server. Wizard finds the open elimination for this round at the halfway point there. And look at this, Mute being pressured on by the attackers. Finds one in the retreat, but now stuck in a little bit of a corner. Ducking and diving, the shield wants to try and find it. Juzo here to support, able to support successfully, finds drills. Atties gets taken down there. That is the Montaigne down as well. CSK going to be falling. Prex goes down, and Wizard, you're on the roof. You're in a 1 versus 3 here. Minute to go on the clock. What can you do with a minute to go here? can we do? 3-1. Wizard have a good start to the game so far. Can they keep that up? That is the question. Needs to double that kill count if he wants to get this one over the line. 40 seconds to go. Plenty of time to be able to do so, of course. But with that clock, every second goes by, it dwindles down, and it is working against you. Good intentions here. Honvéd said they needed a round. And of course, they found it. Oh, well, I say they found it. Honvéd haven't quite found it yet. It's 20 seconds yet, and I don't want to count them out just yet. Of course, here. Oh, Wizard gets one. Headset falls, but surely it's the clock. No, it's Fantasy to deal the final blow here. Takes them down. Finds it. Be nice, people. Can we please be nice here? Life difficult here. Be nice to each other. Is the simple word of the chat. Be nice. I'm gonna have to start hit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start hitting the timeout button here. Be nice, people. Don't actually have any moderators here. It's quite important too. It's distracted. Please be nice because I can't have my head in two places. I want to cast the game, but also can't be focusing on chat at this 100% at the same time. So please just be nice to each other. Pretty please. I've asked really nice. Yeah, Dever gets it. Warm welcoming. That's what we want. Anyway, enough moaning. Back to the game at hand here. Honvéd, they answer one back when they're needed to. Of course, the question now does become how can they bring that roll in? Obviously, the defense are going to be expected to come out of this half with a better result. They're going to be expected to be coming out here on top. Will they be able to do so? Well, so far the defense hasn't really proven to do at least just that. Good intentions, taking the first 2 rounds here. Was a bit shaky that last attack there, round number 3. So definitely proves they can lose the rounds here. Honvéd obviously going to be wanting to capitalise on that fact. There's the repair drones going to be moving on through here. Just trying to clear out utility, but running out on the time, I believe. They're on the clock. You've only got a limited timer on those things. Oh, here comes in the Brava drone. Look at that, taking out an Evil Eye with it. Getting so much value out of this utility right now. No one really able to stop it from the side of Honvéd. They're bleeding utility here at the seams. It's not what you want as a defender there. Of course, you bring that utility anticipating to use it, and well, it's now being used against. Good intentions here. Wizard sees the idle shell, and if Fantasy swaps that one, certain death, but there's another player playing behind it. Headset going to be tucked behind that shield. Of course, it doubles up. Sure, it's a shell, it's a teleport place, but it's also a deployable shield that you can see clean through. It's a good thing to use for these players, really. Headset there, quite comfortable playing in the train, chilling behind it. And the actual Scopos, the active shell at least, above, upstairs, that's going to be Fantasy and Good Intentions. We're halfway through the round now. As they're poking and prodding, but they're yet to find anything of substance, really. They're trying to hunt down these players, trying to find things, but really not able to do so. Here it comes. Fantasy going to get CSK taken down. Wizard coming in on the drop to try and find the trade out. Does a bit of damage, but they know there's a second player on this top floor, but they're not going to be able to find it, even with the knowledge. And Krex coming up through players behind pillar, does find one back, gets himself in towards the objective side, but it's cold, unfortunately. Even if you can be in the objective, you can be close to it. But without that diffuser, you're not going to be able to find anything. Applying the pressure onto the player in towards Strain now, keeps swinging it backwards and forwards. Headset wants this elimination. Going to eventually find it out, and it's all on the shoulders of Elizao. What can you do? You've got the Candelas, which could use the piece of utility for isolating these engagements. However, you're also going up against the Warden, which of course does just mean you can try and find it, but you're not going to find anything anyway. It's going to be Atties swinging out through the impact hole made, through the rotation, finds the elimination, finds the round, and Honvéd finally are starting to warm up on this defense a little bit here. Level things back out 2-2 at the round 5 mark, and we may be back here going for another way of 3-3 halves like we saw in map number 1. You know, map 1 was a game, that was 3-3 half, 3-3 half, and then obviously the max OT. So, we might be back seeing that one again. You know, there wasn't a lot separating these teams in that first map. It was close consistently all the way through. I would be very unsurprised. In a regard, now Honvéd seemingly have warmed back into it a little bit if we don't see that yet again here. Of course, things might change at the halfway point, but we're not there yet. We've still got 2 rounds remaining to play off this first half here. Round number 5. What does it have to offer us? Well, Honvéd keep bringing this Maestro, which, interestingly enough, you know, it's been hacked. I think a good 2 times it has been brought. So, I'm surprised to see them keep bringing it, because obviously Good Intentions are spotting out and adapting, and this is probably the first round where the Maestro's brought, rather, and there's not been a Brava on the board here from being brought from Good Intentions to try and deal with it. Instead, they want to try and change it up, to try and have something a little bit different. They want to try and be nice about it. Bringing utility elsewhere instead, those 6 frag grenades in the pocket of Good Intentions. Really, really great stuff. Of course, a lot of utility can be provided by those Evil Eyes and those castle barricades as well. They're definitely going to be risky to be brought as well, because Atis takes a little bit of early damage. I'm not entirely where that's from, but really felt later on into the round there. Of course, over on the Solace. Can provide so much intel here. Look at this. Good Intentions. Having to be cautious of that run out there to the bottom of White Stairs. You have to keep an eye on that one, because if the player can get out there at the wrong moment, wrong time, it can be disastrous for your attack. Rightfully so. Wizard is going to be cautious of it. This guy getting those castle barricades open now. They're starting to look to work this one out now here. Still sort of going a little bit slower here. As Drills, they want to sort of send in. They have the idea that there is a player playing close to those White Stairs. Of course, that idea is correct. Atis is there. Playing it close with the Solace shotgun. SMG combo. And they really want to try and find this player out. They want to try and pinch this Solace down. That's the goal here. Whether they're going to be able to achieve it or not, well, time is quickly dwindling away, and that's the issue here. The longer you spend chasing this Solace around here, it's a wild goose chase at the end of the day. That's not the real prize. That, of course, is the objective itself. You need to get up there. You need to try and find it. So, in comes the hop in now. Good Intentions spearheading the assault. Is it this thinker on Rex? LMG in hand. Going to find the first. Headset goes down. And he's going to make it a second as well. Fantasy goes. It's traded back eventually by Juzo. But a lot of the players have been lost already. And it's a 2 versus 4 now for the side of Honvéd. Make it a 1 versus 4. Atis gets shut down. 2 kills there. Very quick succession for Wizard as we head into a brief little pause. But don't worry, I can give you spoiler alert. I say from the future. We're currently in the present. This is the feed we're watching is in the past. We'll only be on the pause screen for about 2 minutes. So we can sit here, we can pause, we can wait. We can pause. That means, chat, you don't rip each other's head off. Not doing that. You're being nice. Or I don't know what else I can do. But anyway, we'll sit here on the game at hand. Round number 6 coming up very, very shortly in approximately about 2 minutes, I believe. If the time is to be believed. Of course, wonderful Rennie doing the observing for us tonight means this feed is on a delay for us. And as well, it means we're also, of course, able to sit here and have a conversation. And with that being said as well, more results coming in very, very quickly. Myth Esports have 2-0'd Passion. The results of that game were, let me pull it up for you, 7-5, 7-3, Myth 2-0 to Passion. Obviously, Wild 2-0 Onyx Ravens. That's where all the wonderful Raiders from Tom's channel came from, 7-4, 7-1. And the other one that has been closed out so far as well, the other 2-0, Twisted Minds, 7-3, 7-3, 2-0 to P45. Anyway, our player is back, and hopefully that means momentarily the game does resume. One can hope. And hey, what about that? Another result popping in right as we say that one. Bandipuco, 2-0 in go next. So immediately, team's going to be moving down into that lower bracket, of course, here. You look at the overall scheme of things, and start to worry for some of these teams. Of course, they'll be moving down. They'll be moving into that lower bracket side of things. As sort of called at the start of the night, Twisted Minds, they're guaranteed to be moving up into the upper bracket. Wild will be up there as well. So those two will be playing for promotion into playoffs tomorrow, as well as one of these two sides and one of Les Gallery or Matchco.
Defenders, protect your bombs from
One of them will be moving up. One of them will be going into the middle bracket. Don't know who it's going to be yet, so we're just going to have to wait and see. Of course, only time can tell these things, and time so far, it's been kind to us here on this stream, really, so far. Touch a bit of wood. Been quite lucky so far with the games. Had some really nice close ones here. Some overtimes, of course. We also, Gatmore, could we please keep things in English? Only because I don't speak other languages and I don't keep it food. So if you wouldn't mind keeping English, that would be very much appreciated. Very much. And we head towards round number 6 there. Thank you for bearing with us for a little momentary tech pause. Happens from time to time, bit of FPS bug. As is the way, as is, I'm sure many of you probably will know. It sounds like things competent players. They're out, floating about. I'm sure many of you probably will have been in the open qualifiers over the last few weeks. Here, of course, good intention to win in that one. Out overall, top of the standings. First place out of the 12 teams that qualified through them. So obviously a lot of expectations on them. Go far, go deep, and well, map 1 performance is certainly indicative of that. Map 2, still keeping it close, but they're still, at the minute at least, so far on top. And 3 rounds on a Cafe Dostoevsky attack, you know what, I'd be fairly happy with that. That's not going to be a bad half. Regardless of how this next sort of 2 minutes goes, good intentions, I would be quite happy. Honvéd, definitely less so. I think 3-3, it's acceptable. It's not great for them on the defensive side. It's decent enough. It will keep you in the game. I think if you're looking at a 4-2 the other way around, I start to get a little bit worried. And lineup-wise, well, we have seen a bit of a change-up from the defense here. They're going to be bringing out the Echo. Joker wants to make that run-up, but can't because of the air jabs in front of that window. Instead, it's going to be Elias out. Gets dropped. He gets immediately recovered by that adrenal surge there. Unfortunately, the player of Honvéd, Agliati's unable to secure that elimination here. As Horneting Cocktail up on the desk, trying to run away. He gets caught out. Here comes the charge from Eliza. Do they know how close the player is? No, they do not. Juzal's going to find it. 4 versus 4 now. Bloodbath on the top floor, but things are going to settle out just momentarily again as Krex does catch Juzal, and yet another retreat coming in from Honvéd, and it's going to be punished for a second time this round, where a player's trying to rotate, player's trying to retreat, and maybe unaware of the player of good intentions, or just taking the risk knowingly. It's not working out for them. It's slipping the way. They find themselves in a 3 versus 4 with 60 seconds to go. Of course, that Echo on headset. Keep an eye on that one, because the longer the round goes on, the more powerful those Yokai drones become, and potentially how much they can change the fate of things here on 6. As a C4 below, listening out for the run-in. Death mark's going to come through. Joker going to be marked out by it, but immediately traded back off it by that mute jammer there, preventing anyone from tracking him any longer. And seemingly want to look up towards the stairs here. Maybe a C4, maybe a retake. Ward's going to hide in the staircase. Going to throw the C4 up, prime it in hand. Be ready to go. Joker is going to fall elsewhere, though. So for the side of Honvéd, it needs to be good and it needs to be quick. It's going to be going down now. 2 versus 4 for these defenders. Here come the Yokai drones coming in hot. Are going to deny that plant temporarily. And as well, Fantasy does deny Wizard. Here comes the vertical retake here. Fantasy needs to go huge, but isn't going to be able to do so. Krex is found. 1. CSK finds the other, and just like that, good intentions. They get themselves a 4-2 half onto a really great start here on Cafe Dostoevsky. Good start, a good lead being built through. What a way to start things through for them here on Cafe. Of course, we go to the second half. Things may change. Things very likely will change, in fact. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God. Sorry, I've just checked my Twitter notifications. You guys know exactly who you are. Just wondering why I watched them vibrate for the last 10 minutes. Anyway, game on hand. Round number 7 now. Good intentions, taking the lead. It's a good start from them. As I said a few times now, really good stuff here looking to sort of continue on that momentum here on their defensive side. No. No, Carson. No. No.
Attackers have discovered the location of
Doing that. Away.
seconds left.
Round number 7. What do we do? What does the Honvéd respond with? That's the real important question here. Honvéd needs to try and work their way back through this one. How will they be able to do it? I mean, I don't know. Listen, they've been put in these difficult spots before. We saw it yesterday where they were in difficult situations. They have worked their way out of them here, but it's looking a lot slower today. In comparison to yesterday, today's games have been a bit slower. Overall, the rounds have been slower, and I think it's just probably a bit of an adjustment to how Good Intentions play. M&M Academy, they're very aggressive. Good Intentions, it's certainly not been that today. There's been aggression where it's needed, but on the whole, things are slower than yesterday, to say the least. And Honvéd, they're playing into that a little bit, but as we go towards their attack here, I do worry they struggled with it quite a lot yesterday, and just haven't had a breakthrough on it today. That's the issue. There's not been a breakthrough on this attack that I really wanted to see from Honvéd, where they go away from yesterday and go, these are the wrongs, and they write them through. And CSK takes down Addies. Here comes Hopping from Fantasy. He's going to be able to take down Frex. Charging in towards Freezer. Does drop Wizard, but gets Wizard dropped immediately back. 3 versus 3 now. They're clear for if Fantasy can be recovered here, which seems like it is going to be the case. But it just goes back yet again the other way. We're now in a 1 versus 2 here. Headset with it all to do. Drills with a double on the Super Shorty. Headset outside, going to telegraph the repelling. And Drills is just going to find it with a huge triple kill just like that. And it's Good Intentions taking their lead, extending it even further on here on Cafe. Of course, 2 rounds away from sweeping up the series. 2-0. Head down to kitchen now for the defensive side here. You've got to pick one of your tertiary bomb sites. Well, not tertiary, but secondary bomb sites rather. You can't go back up to that top floor. You're going to go towards the kitchen all the way down to the bottom floor of the cafe.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Speaking of unrelated note, this is not related to the game at all. This is a cafe note, actually. I'm sure most of you did sit. I imagine most of you are probably quite active in the city community if you're watching this. That Twitter rework, I'm not going to credit anyone for it. Let's see if I can find who originally posted that quickly while the prep phase does come through. I believe it was Kudos who came up, who sort of posted the idea originally of having the external wall on up towards Scar, with the external balcony in the way around as well. I didn't actually have anything to say on that. I don't know why I brought that up. There's nothing I wanted to add on that one. I think it's a good idea. That's about all I had to say on that one. I'm not a map designer, for evident reasons, because otherwise you'd probably have about 5 more planes in the rotation, which, as fun as it would be, wouldn't be very competitive. Speaking of fun, this lineup from Honvéd, would you look at that? A Glaz, a Blitz, a Rara, and a Finka and a Capital. They're going to want to go in fast here, Honvéd. See it quite a lot from teams on Cafe, especially on this bottom floor bomb site. That teams just want to go in. They just want to full send it in speedy. Are they going to do it? When are they going to do it? Well, who knows? Drone's going to be coming on through here. You don't want to be telegraphing that the rush is the game plan right away, of course. You kind of want to be making sure you don't give it away. That's the operator lineup. That's the pick until you're ready to make the commitment to it. Because once you commit, there is no going back, really. You rush, you give up halfway through. You've spent all your utility, likely got nothing out of it. So you need to make sure when you are going fast, you are going to be hitting those shots here. Eliza wanting to push up forward. CSK found one with a C4, but his headset with 2. 1 with the asphyxiating bolt, 1 with the para. We're in what's effectively a 2 versus 2 here. Fantasy should be able to be recovered here, but Narara, look at that. It temporarily denies the rotation from CSK, but they didn't hear the rotation come back through. They have no idea. He's behind. A quick shot back from Joker does find it. And now it's a 1 versus 1 here. Wizard may be able to deny the recovery of the teammate here because 2 versus 1 would be troublesome for the defense here. Seems like Revive may want to be attempted here. C4's going to be ripped, going to be tossed. Thrown it out, doesn't quite hit its mark here. Wizard holding on here. Going to be droned out. Very likely quickly Joker going to be able to find the player. Good spot to do so. Just has to hide and wait. Remaining players of Honvéd, they're going to be looking on through. They're going to want to be trying to find a player. They have, of course, the utility from the Rara. They have some smoke bolts as well, but they're not going to need them. Headset's going to find it. Wizard's going to go down, and Honvéd, they answer back with an attack of their own. And we're a bit closer to tying up the game here now. 5-4 is 5-3 is the scoreline, rather. Working a little bit closer, and honestly, Caution, you might be on something. Is it a hot take to say I prefer the AUG on Honvéd? I like the shotgun. Maybe it's just because I'm awful at this video game. Like, maybe it's just I'm awful at this video game, but I like the AUG. I'm awful at this thing. It's part of the fun. We need being awful at this game is part of the fun. Round number 9 coming through. Defense are going to be going on towards that second floor. Not going to be giving the kitchen another go. Going to be going completing the full rotation through regardless. Head towards that second floor. Line up of Honvéd. Well, here come the shields back out. It was only a matter of time, really. I think before, of course, we saw the blitz in the previous round, but I think this time the Montaigne is going to have much more impact. EK win bank 7-5. Justin, well, there you go. 2-0 there. EK 2-0. Lanaciti Retiri. That name still. Either way, EK win that one. 2-0 yet again. And we've got, oh wow, Escalarian's match code, that's still ongoing, but that's actually the only other game going on at the minute. Everything else has ended 2-0, really. And else, LHH are losing. Well, all I have to say on that one is it was 7-8 the first map. It was an insanely close map, number 1. Final few seconds didn't quite work out. And so far, at least, they've been on the back foot. So far, this Cafe. Definitely been a struggle for them here. Good intentions. Certainly putting in the work. In that elbow grease. And they've got themselves a good position. They're in a really, really good spot right now. Round number 9, of course. We're approaching the sort of the end of things here on Cafe, the final sort of 2/3 of this map, and see Honvéd making the comeback. I want to see it. I want to see another overtime here, but we might not get there because Krex has better ideas. If it finds one, can't quite find the second, runs out of bullets, but it matters not because Joker's there for a response with Fantasy. CSK does eventually take down Joker. It's an absolute bloodbath on this top floor here, and just like that, we've been reduced to a 2 versus 2. Sprays going out left, right, and centre, but at the end of the day, no one really coming out the victor of that. Good intentions. It's all up CSK and Wizard. Lock down the fort for the next sort of 90 seconds or so. Got half the game, half the round out left to play through. Honvéd, they're out on the top floor. They know they can probably work their way down now. The remaining players of good intentions are going to likely be playing this objective. They'll obviously use the remaining drones at the top. Work it out, but they've not got many of them. Only 3 up there in the top left. Screen. 2 really good guns on the side of good intentions waiting for you. Breach is going to start to be making work now. Hatch is getting opened up. Because CSK, with a relocation, trying to go play it around the teammate here, and that's the key. You've got to play this as 2. You can't just play this individually. You have to be playing this one together. Make sure you go in, you get this one done. CSK watching the vertical, playing the vertical as Addies tries to open up what he can with that super shorty. Have to be careful, it's a dangerous game playing that vert. Because they're forced out of reading temporarily. Out towards the corridor. They're just going to bide their time. 30 seconds to go on the clock now. Honvéd needing to get a little bit of a move on here. They have a frag grenade, they have some stuns to work with. But look at this, there's a mirror window to play behind. It is popped open. But it doesn't matter because C4 is there. All they need to do is just wait to hear that plant going down and then they can go for it. It's going to be thrown. It's not going to come up. It's going to come a little bit short. But look at that. They've retaken the vertical. Good intentions are up above. Doesn't really seem like it's going to matter too much because the diffuser is going down. But the damage is being done heavily there. Both players of Honvéd reduced quite low. Atties especially. Only with a sliver to go. That Vector, it fires so fast. 1 bullet is all it's going to need here. Synchronized drop coming through here. Here it comes. CSK drops. Wizard behind. Finds 1. Do they know about a second? Yes, he does. Massive 2K for Wizard. And it's the round going the way of good intentions. It gets them up on to match map series point. Abracadabra. Good intentions get themselves up to a match point. They've got a few rounds to play with as well. Lucky for them. And, oh, they've got 3 rounds to play with now. Honvéd required 3 in a row, and this is now the question. What can they do? Because of the last 5 rounds here, Good Intentions have won 4 of them. So, what is the response from Honvéd? We saw the tactical timeout taken in map number 1. It was converted through off of memory, was taken, was successful. Is the same going to happen here? And more importantly, even if the same does happen here, is it enough for 3 rounds in a row? Hey. Yeah, CSK has definitely warmed back up into this game, and I'm glad to see it. And I'm not going to say the goodness of Good Intentions this game has come off of the back of CSK doing well, but certainly having all 5 players really actually competing in the lobby definitely makes that massive difference there. Obviously, if you weren't here for map number 1, it wasn't the best game for CSK. It's a bad map. It happens to the best of us. It happens to everyone from every map, from every level of the game, from every walk, whether you're casual or playing at the very top. Happens to all of us. It wasn't the greatest of games for CSK, and as I said, what you need to make sure you're doing is competing when you come back to match number 2. Because that, at the end of the day, is quality that's going to get you far in these qualifiers. That's the quality that you need to get you. That's a not a factor. An attribute that you need to be able to bring to the table in these games. You need to make sure when you're down, you need to be able to bring yourself back through. CSK's done exactly that. 6 and 3 at the minute. 2 KD. Obviously playing more backline roles. Never going to expect him to be on the top of things all the way up there at the top of the board. But it's certainly welcome on back into the series, CSK. Pleasure to have you here, and it's at the top of your screen. You can see it, folks. It is showing in the scoreline here. Now, all 5 members of Good Intentions are putting in good numbers. They're really starting to start a roll, building up a little bit of a lead here. Oh, Tom, that's a spicy one. Good Intentions to make T1. You know what? I can see a world in where it happens. They were the top seed of the Open qualifiers for a reason. There's a lot of great teams. I don't know. Say 100% certainty. I can't say anyone for 100% certainty, bar maybe ex-Falcons. But Good Intentions, they're definitely up there. Again, another slow start to this round here. Honvéd up from the top, trying to work their way through, not bringing the shields this time around. We do see typically a little bit less of them here and there on Cafe. They're not quite as commonplace as perhaps on Labs. Certainly still have their place, but Honvéd not opting to bring them with them. Unheavy lineup, really there. Of course, Sophia, that AK, or 762 as it's called in game. Really powerful weapon. Joker as well on that Okabe, and that DMR doesn't get enough love. I love that thing. Yeah, that DMR is a lovely weapon, and of course the SP12 as well. Players are really loving it lately. And Honvéd continuing to poke and prod really, but not really starting to do anything. And that needs to come, and that needs to change quite quickly here because they're running out of time. Clock's against you, you're on the attack, Good Intentions, they're up. They're up 3 rounds, and they're quite comfortable at this point. They're not going to be giving anything away here. You can see Rex down below, wanting to try and go for a flank, but not going to be going for anything just yet. Going to throw the Zoto canister. CSK is going to be the first to fall, immediately traded back by Joker, though. Oh, CSK gets killed, immediately traded back by Joker, rather. 4 versus 4. 50 seconds to go. Logic Bomb can be heard, but unfortunately that breach I don't think is just about wide enough there. I think it might just maybe just be about wide enough, but we're not doing breaches. We're hopping in through windows here. Headset's going to be getting themselves in towards Cocktail here. With the kit in hand, needs to be stay alive long enough to get the kit down. Wizard's going to be going down for the time being. That's a C4 from below for Crex. Yet again, keeping things level here over on the side of Good Intentions. 3 versus 3 with 20 seconds to go. The attack, they have to go now. They have to go fast. It's important to do so, or otherwise this one could be disastrous here for the attack of Honvéd. Moving in, the 15-second call is made. They're going to jump in through the window here. Joker hops in. picks up the kit, but with the clock against you, you have no choice but to just charge on in here. Glyzel taking a lot of damage. Drills finds one elsewhere. Joker goes down, and surely the game with it. It's all on Atties, but not long for this world. Huge triple for Glyzel. Good intentions. They're going to be getting themselves in towards our upper bracket at the tippy top of the competition here, going up towards tomorrow to face against one other team from this bracket. Who will it be? That is, of course, yet TBC to be decided. But either way, a great performance for these players. The great stuff across the board there. Good intentions. They hit the marks. They hit the shots today. Honvéd, unfortunately for them, it's going to be down in towards that mid bracket. What a game. Unfortunately, a 2-0. And that, I believe, has been 7 out of 8. Am I going to stream the Matchco game by chance? If the admins will let me stream the Matchco game, we can offer the Matchco game. Who's Anyway, we'll wait for the admins to ask very nicely if we're going to be able to do so or not. Anyway, quick talk about that game. Of course, Good Intentions doing a phenomenal job. One person I do really want to thank is, of course, the wonderful Rennie, who has been doing our observing tonight. Please do go show her some appreciation for that. Done a phenomenal job there, catching all the action in that game. Really appreciated. Made our life a lot easier here, so please do go give Rennie some love as well. Overall bracket is there as well if you want to go and update it. So, you want to go and watch? Rennie? No, that's not what I said. That's the opposite of what I said. Can't listen to chat. And important information for you all, chat, as well. Use your Wordle. Really important stuff there. So, gotta wait for word and weather. Cool. Right, we can hop on to the Matchco game. So, if you give me 5 seconds, I believe they're in the middle of a game. So, of course, Heavy is now observing. And not in the middle of the game. It says be right back. I'm also just going to update my little graphics here while we wait. It is 1-1. Okay, so it's 1 apiece at the minute. As things stand here, I'm just going to quickly put in the veto here through. So map was Labs, which was a that was the Les Galerians win. And then it was a really nice computer. Labs, which was the Les Galerians win. I do apologise. I'm gonna have to sort this out on the overlay quickly. Skyscraper, which was then a Matchco win. And we're now heading to ooh, banger. Lair is going to be our deciding map here. Then it is Galerians on the left, and then Matchco on the right. Hit the refresh button. Beautiful. That is all set up. Oh, I might score ever so slightly. There we go. Scores all updated. Cool. Right, folks, if you don't mind, I'm just going to give my throat a couple of minutes break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be having the Matchco game coming up for you all ever so shortly. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a couple with the game, of course. So we'll be back, throwing it through in just a couple of minutes.
is my teacher. In front of the class, he says if you're not a believer, I've views, that's on you. Better shape up and pay your dues. Of my views, that's on you. I'll be on a flight soon to Vienna singing, ooh. Gotta know all this propaganda, how do you do? Better get it with my own medicine for you. Never gonna make them think I'll stand there. For all the things that I've said, pushing me closer to the edge. And I don't know let loose, don't mind if I do. For all the things that I've said, pushing me closer to the edge. And I don't know let loose, don't mind if I do. 3 is the wind, and as strong as a piece of amber. Give me a breath, like the fire you'll soon remember. Ooh. I'll be on a fleet soon, Tony, and I'm singing, ooh. Gotta know all this propaganda, how do you do? For all the things that I've said, pushing me closer to the edge. And I don't know let loose, don't mind if I do. For all the things that I've said, pushing me closer to.
Compare it to last night where we had 3 games going all the way to map number 3. Tonight's not been so fortunate. It's been a night of 2-0s tonight, and of course that has been reflected on this stream as well. Good Intentions taking a 2-0 victory and a decisive one at that over Honvéd. Very close map number 1, but in the end it was Good Intentions on their own map pick have a similarly dominant showing on Cafe Dostoevsky as they did on the first day as last night, and they got themselves the victory over it. And now, per the request of Nanos, we are here covering the Les Galerians Matchco game. Of course, I don't have a nice little graphic for this one, unfortunately. I kind of don't have. It's complicated. Making these things takes time. I'm working on it. There is something I'm maybe making. Maybe it will come out. Maybe I'll release it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll have to see how it actually ends up coming out. That might make these a lot easier for people. We'll have to wait and see. But either way, welcome on back in, folks. Of course, everyone, of course, in the app support has been immense tonight. I do appreciate every single one of you turning up, coming in and saying hi. And yeah, we had a last game going on tonight. Of course, there are plenty of other streamers if you'd rather watch this game, and I believe I'm going to completely get this wrong, so I'm going to go scroll up and find it before I butcher it and get it really wrong and feel really, really bad later on tonight. Give me 3 seconds if you don't mind. So, Urigan, Rainbow Six, ITA Com, and Raki, they are all going to be covering this game in Italian, so feel free to go and watch the game in Italian if you'd rather. I know of Matchco fans, especially amongst you, would rather probably watch this one in Italian, as Matchco are our resident Italian team here. Of course, another upper bracket game. Of course, one of these teams will be going onwards, down, upwards to tomorrow's high bracket. If we take a quick look at how things look overall here, we click that button. There we go. So obviously the bracket games for tomorrow will not be updated until we are all everything said and done. So there will still be some games that we're just waiting for results back on here, obviously. Yeah, so plenty of games here. Obviously tonight, as you can see, the Scalarians Matchco, this is how things have been. Another really close night, Haven Labs, funnily enough, to start things off with. And then Matchco taking the win on Skyscraper has brought us all the way to Blair. And that one, well, you know what? I'm actually quite glad I passed this one, because I'm just going to pull this up. Can we play more Lair, please? Lair is a good map. I'm not taking anything other than that. Lair is a good map, so I'm glad to see that I'm finally getting an opportunity to watch Lair on a broadcast here. All the other games for today have been 2-0s as well. 5-7, 5-7, 3-7, 7-5, 2-7, 8-6, 7-4, 7-5. So there's been some pretty one-sided games here as well throughout the entirety of the day. And of course, if you're unfamiliar with how the Swiss bracket looks, how it's going to work. Oh, I made predictions. Oh. So I want to pull these up. Let's have a look here. Right, so I predicted a 1-2. So I said 1-2 to Matchco. I said 2-0 Twisted Minds. That was right. I put a question mark for today's game. I completed out with it a little bit. I actually thought Wild would lose their game. I was quite wrong on that one. DK were 2-0. Wasn't sure on this one. I said 2-1 to Myth, 2-0 to Myth, and I said 2-1 M&M Academy 2-0. So it wasn't far off. Best thing I've ever done. But then also predictions, all of the other competitions never went that great. So I'm glad to hear that at least one of these streams is going all right. And there you are, the word from Debbie, our wonderful observer. The game is starting in 240 seconds, and that was about 2 minutes ago. I like it called Dotty. I don't see the resemblance at all. You're crazy. Also, speaking of, get your channel predictions in. That side, possibly. Get your channel points in. Do some predictions. Change the sign. People betting on Matchco at the minute, I will definitely name and shame once predictions have been done. Yeah. Or maybe I could. There we go. Oh, there we go. We're seeing some back and forth now. This Galerians. Now, I've got a feeling this one's going to be quite 50-50, I think, here. In this matchup upcoming. Oh, Debbie already has a thing on there, so I didn't even need to use my thing. Oh, that looks so much better than mine. Wow. Almost like that one's the one that Peak made. That's the really, really nice one, not my bootleg one that I put together from the invitational one I had and just changed the colours of it slightly. Wow, that looks so much better than it did. And there, woohoo! Good evening again, Tedo. Welcome back in. My mic isn't picking me up when I'm speaking quietly. Let's turn up the game slightly. Let's tell professional broadcaster. I know what I'm doing. Professional broadcaster. Thanks for the heads up, Manos. Obviously, if there are sound issues, tech issues, please help. Because, I'd rather fix them than watch the stream back and then go not realising there's stream issues. Because that's happened to me before and it's really not fun. Big flashback stuff. I think it was... I'm going to get on a tangent here. We've got a couple of minutes. I think it was the first time I was casting Tier 1 teams. But obviously, I was like, wow, this is a big deal. I think it was Ents Wild at the time. This was for Montreal. I believe this one was. It was the Montreal qualifiers. And one of the players of Wild, can't remember who it was now for the life of me, had a massive ace pop off. And I'm like, oh, that was an awesome clip. Like, it was an awesome clip from whoever it was. Really did the clip justice. And then I go back and watch it and my mic's like, obviously somehow got unplugged in the process of that me jumping around. And it just didn't pick it up at all. I just sounded so robotic and so awful. Oh my God, I hated myself for that one. But what will not be hating myself is going to be this map coming up here, folks, for you all. Let me get rid of Mind Game Overlay because guess what? We don't need it because there is a wonderful one here built in for us here. So thank you very much, Debbie. We'll slide that one off here. Get it out of here. We are going to be heading to Lair. Well, Matchco versus Les Galerians here. One apiece. One of these two teams will be going on towards tomorrow's upper bracket. And if you ask me, these are two teams that I think are favoured across this entire competition here. Matchco, obviously, Italian side. I know there's a lot of people saying they should be one of our Tier 1 teams. Obviously, at the end have all been said and done. So there'll be expectations on them. Les Galerians as well. A French side of some very, very strong talent there. Of course, some names that you will all be familiar with. Bibu, Jax, Frenchie, Linku, and Marto playing on the side of Les Galerians, the French side. So many great players on both of these teams. Unfortunately, only one of them can be the victor. The question of who it's going to be, well, that lies in the next possibly 15 rounds of Siege ahead of us. Blackbeard, Dokubi, Azami going to be taken off the board here. Now, fairly standard set of bans here for most maps, generally speaking. Obviously, Lair is its own beast. It's one we don't get to see a lot of here on the streams because teams don't like it and they're wrong. Way more Lair. And Cade going to be our final ban, taken off the board here. Well, let's get ourselves in for this one here. Round number 1, Matchco versus Les Galerians. Obviously, quite a close game here. Starting off things 8-7. That one must have been an absolute barn burner. If anyone was watching that in the chat, please do give the heads up. Please do let me know how it was if anyone was watching that one. Matchco, of course, then bringing it back 7-4 over on the second map of the night there. And then now we find ourselves in this third and final round, third and final map. That's all max updated. It is max updated, beautiful. Phew, there we are. Awesome stuff. All right, match go. Let's see what the defensive Les Galerians have to offer here. It's a fairly standard looking lineup. Nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary here. Get at the match go. Well, we're seeing the sense already. Lair, when it does come through, when it sort of rears its little head, it is always one of these maps that I think gets a bit wild and I get a little bit wacky with it. To say, it's one we don't see often, so when we often do, things just go a little bit crazy, a little bit off the rails, and that's exactly what we like to see. It's what a way to end our evening, of course. Going to be getting up bright and early tomorrow morning for some OS, if anyone's interested in better region. Going to watch some Australian Siege first thing tomorrow morning. Can't remember what game it is doing. Similar place in the tournament there, Swiss stage there. There was, I can't remember who said the tweet now. Apparently I look like Dofsy. I don't see it. I really don't see it. But apparently, according to a few people in chat, I do. So, that was a nice slow start here. Matchgo going to be swapping off the sense, going to be bringing out the Montaigne instead, going towards a more shield, sort of standard-ish looking lineup here. Fairly what I'd say is used to be seen from these sides here. Nothing too out of the ordinary. An early run out from Marteau, not going to find anything. Give a risk to stay out there for any longer than need be, so just going to hop straight back in. Tero's going to be doing their work, going to be opening things up, getting that utility taken off the board here. Quite a good amount of it, really, from the side of Les Galerians with the bandit batteries, FNAT mines, and those goo mines as well. Plenty of utility to clear out from the defensive side. So, doing it quickly and using operator like Flores to sort of accelerate that process is of course, the goal here. Jax going to be playing up close here towards the balcony, but look at this. Lolo made their way up quite close with the balcony. Jax is going to be the first one to fall. Ghost is going to be the one to find it there. And Acqui with another one as well. Takes down Linku and makes it a 3 versus 5 situation here for the French. Les Galerians, what can they do? A man disadvantage against them. Still got a C4 in the back pocket there, likely of Bibu. How will it be used is the question. Of course, you've got the shield to deal with here. Marteau looking to play a little bit of aggressive, reclaim a little bit of land. And Frenchie going to be reinforcing off Bolt, leaving the teammate of Bibu there to die on his lonesome. Ghost finding yet another one in this round. Marteau now going to be swinging on to Teb. Teb has no idea he's behind. He's going to get the one. The element of surprise is done, gone and dusted, as is the rest of your team here, Marteau. In a 1 versus 4, what can you do? Not a whole lot as Acqui closes it out. A strong start for Matchgo. And they continue what they started over on map number 2. They continue their 7-4 that they had, which obviously was quite a strong performance from them. And they head onwards in towards Lair with a round lead, round ahead. What's that skyscraper there, map 2, and that was a 7-4, considering the fact that they started that skyscraper on the attack, Matchco. 7-4 scoreline's pretty damn impressive to see. Can't deny it. But of course, looking to sort of bring that momentum on forwards here into round number 2. Galerians going to be giving this top floor yet another shot. But adaptation this time around. Going to be seeing the disappearance of another operator and going to be going over towards that clash pit. One we've seen a lot of. One who I think you'll always, Clash has some very loud voice lines. You'll always hear her calling people Muppets and whatnot as they approach her. And of course, she's always quite in your face. Big shield as well. And shield may meet shield as well. Lolo bringing out the blitz. Matchco. Seems like going to be seen, tried and tested, giving it another go. Doesn't seem like things are going to differentiate too much from the previous round. And going on towards the glass, that one definitely does pique a little bit of the curiosity. What's the mentality behind that one? More importantly, what angles are going to be played there from that sniper rifle? Have to wait and wonder and see. Of course, Frenchie looking to contest towards operations here. With that clash, it's a good open area. It's the kind of area that you want to put a clash in there. That range on the CC is quite a lot. It's quite a long range, about 12, 15 meters, I believe. So as a result of that, it's going to be a good position to hold, and it's an even better position to hold when Bibu's going to be successful on the bandit trick there. Going to be making sure to deny those Selma charges. But can only get the first wave done, though. And that's all it's going to be. But what else where it's going to be is Linko going to get Teb immediately traded back out. 4 versus 4 here. Bibu now Flash falls back to the site, supported by Bibu. Marto's going to be going down elsewhere, though, as well as Akwi. We're at 3 versus 3 here. A minute gone in towards the round here, and it's already proven to be a little bit of a bloodbath between these two sides. As we're likely to have a little bit of a stall out here. Halfway left to go. The attack don't need to get a rush and ahead of things just as of yet. Kind of just wait and see, poke and prod, how they want to deal with this situation.
Reloading.
No more Selma charges remaining, meaning that Meswall is going to be remaining close for the time being.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Les Galerians, they'll be happy to hear that, meaning the attack, they're going to have to funnel in through the doorways that remain. So, their goal here, they're going to be trying to get that extension that they need. They're going to try and get another pick over on the top of Matchco there. Going to try and get themselves a second engagement, get themselves a second player. So they're pushing into site with that numbers advantage. Because, of course, when you're pushing in with a clash, it can be really difficult to do. Here comes Lolo in towards the objective now, but can't go in just yet. Blinded out by the FNAT mine. And it needs to be a coordinated push from the team here. Poking and prodding, trying to assess how they want to deal with this one. Matchco. In that time they had a lot of it. It's slowly fading away from about half of it burnt now. 40 seconds to go. Bibu, a bit of a prone off angle here. I don't know if they're going to know, and he might just walk into it elsewhere. Sandora's gone down, and Ghost goes down as well with it. Lolo stands up, has to fight them all, but it's Bibu with a double. Let's get it in. We get around back. We're 1-1 here at the top of Lair. Now, I don't believe there are any stats for the open for Lair. I know we had stats for all of the other maps, but I know we had stats for all of it. Bolton, I believe the frame drop is on the clean feed end. There are some FPS drops, I don't know if that's coming through for me. I believe that's on the end of the clean feed as far as I'm getting everything's all right. A little bit framey, but it's not, we're 95% all right. Yeah, so let's have a look. I don't think we've got any Lair stats. Lair, it's the first time Lair's being played all group stage rather. Lair. It's been picked 1 time. This game right here. In terms of side statistics, well, prior to this one, actually, no, with this one, I can do the maths in my head. 2 rounds so far of Lair have been played here in Swiss stage. 1 round's gone the way of the attack. 1 round's gone the way of the defense. We're sitting at 50-50. We're trendsetters here, folks. That's exactly what we're doing. We're right in the book on how to play Lair here in Challenger Series. Of course, maybe we are right in the book on Lair. The book of Lair feels like a very, very short one. Slower start at least this time around. No one going to be dying in the first 20 seconds here. Of course, Matchco going to be going around the building, going to be trying to get their entry points wide and open. As this time around, basement is going to be our site of choice for the defense here. Capcan being brought out here by Jax over on the side of LG. Maybe able to cause some damages here if due diligence isn't done in checking these doorways. I'm curious to see what Marto can get going on the Vigil as well. Playing that roam game up on above. Gonna rotate down back towards Filtration now. Do they have any idea where this Vigil is? Of course, can slip by the drones. Can play it around however he wants to. Teddy's just going to rotate back towards the objective here, as are most of all of the defenders of Les Galerians, rather. All back on the objective now. Matchco, give them free reign to kind of just move towards the objective. Set up their assault for how they want to do it. Well, it's just going to continue to dwindle down here, really. Not much to really comment on or say going on with this one so far. Bit of vertical game being engaged here by both sides here. Frenchie going to want to be denying the impact there of the nice little impact trick on towards the Selma. Going to deny it. Deny the opening and hot through for the Montaigne there. Jax sitting back in stock, waiting for the team to go through, and as you can see, 2 of the members of Les Galerians, they've decided to go for a bit of a flank here. Bibu and Marto gone up above here, try and catch some of the players of Matchco out. Are they aware that there are players above? Well, they are now. Linku finds one over towards Akwi. Linku now in a real tough position here. Has to be careful with how you want to play this one. There is a Vulcan canister. You can choose to opt and burn there. And with the hatch still closed, you're safe in that position for a moment longer here. 50 seconds on the clock. Time is ticking down here. Frenchie In a key position here, holding out in Labs. Does have a Vulcan canister still to burn, but look at this. The players of the Les Galerians, they've just gotten themselves quite comfortable upstairs. It's Andorra and Teb left up there to try and contest with them, and you can see as much as they want to apply pressure towards that basement objective, they're left chasing these ghosts of these players on their own because there's nothing from Matchco to really deal with them. So the side push is what's going to come through. Ghost on Lolo, spearheading in, but immediately shut down by Frenchie. Teb does finally catch out Marto above. Linku takes down Lolo. And it's 2 versus 4 here for Matchco, but Teb makes it 2 versus 3. Evens up, has the yellow ping, has the intel on towards another, but with time against him, has to make some magic happen here really quickly. Sandora, you need to push in and you need to do it fast. It's going to be a cap can trap to deal the final blow from Jax. Beyond the grave, Les Galerians take their second round here on Lair. What a round that was there. Good start for them, really. Sort of Matchco struggling there with those roaming players. That re-aggression from Les Galerians there, it kept Matchco second-guessing themselves, and that's the biggest issue there for them, really. Struggling to get that second go of it going. You know, they've got the players above. They're aware of the players above. And they have to keep second-guessing themselves. They want to focus on the objective. They want to focus on the base. But Matchco wanted to play direct in that round. Les Galerians, the retake there. Brilliant idea from Bibu and Marto piece to try and get it done. Works out for them, causes enough of the distraction to split up Matchco. And when they're split apart like that, they can just be cut down there. Good idea, good execution all around. Into round number 4 here. The Galerians, at least compared to round number 1, looking much more like the defense of Lair that we would expect to see. Of course, as you can imagine, you know, typically, at least off memory, Lair actually attacker or defender sided. Am I going to have to go back to... Let's have a look. I should know this off the top of my head. I don't really, but... We don't see it often. Like, I can't actually remember the last time I saw a really good Lair game be played out. Lair, at least the SI, 57% defender favored. Yeah, I thought so. So, Lair is defender favored, ever so slightly so. Les Galerians should be looking better here. Obviously, they have been, yet again, after that first sort of wobble in the first round here. But Matchco, they've not been far behind either. They've not been total blowouts these rounds. They've been quite close the whole way through. So, good to at least see both teams being competitive, and hopefully it means, well, we might get an overtime treat to end the night. Here in the EML was, if you're just joining us, it's the final game going. Everything else so far has been a 2-0. This is the only 2-1 game. Score lines for the first 2 maps. Nighthaven Labs and then Skyscraper at the top of your screen, and we now find ourselves map 3 Lair. Matchco start eyeing up this top floor here. Minute burn of the round here, and you can immediately feel the pressure that's about to come under the shoulders of Bibu and Jax and Marto all up on this top floor here. Lolo caught in a toxic babe, has to try and pull the goo mine out. Going to be taking a lot of chip damage here, and that's crucial on a shield operator because you can just hack away at the feet. When they're low HP like that, you can just kind of chill at the feet. Ghost's position is going to be known, it's going to be given away there by Les Galerians. They know exactly what the game plan is from Matchco here, this kind of northeastern push coming in. That's been read on to here, and obviously Les Galerians, they're adjusting accordingly to do so. You see Linku still a massive roam here, all about the map here, moving without much worry in the world. Matchco deciding how they want to push onwards, struggling to try and find a way into this one. Right up, they're thinking about it. Marto playing close on this shotgun, could do so. But what concerns me here is the utility usage here. But that's the third and final toxic babe for the round gone now. And look at the clock, still got a minute to go. And this attack, they can just eye up. They can just start to eye up the objective here, and that's exactly what Lolo's going to do. Through the Maverick Cole, takes down Frenchie, gets the opener on the round for Matchco, and the attack is starting to shape things up a little bit better here. There's a lot of focus on the top floor from the Galerians. It needs to be cleared out at one point or another. You know, you can't not clear it out because the vertical can be used with neither plant in most spots. And Matchco, well, they're just winning gunfights at the minute there. Ghost is going to be taking down Jax. Bibu, all that remains on this second floor here, playing R6. Wants to swing out on towards the sledge, but it's just going from bad to worse down below. Eventually, Ghost is found. Linku gets one of his own on towards Teb. But Linku then blinded out by the blitz. Can't do much more than that. They want to push the site here. Bibu has no choice but to drop, but isn't even going to be able to do so. Akwi's watching the hatch. And Matchco, they tie it back up to a piece here. This top floor really not going too well for the defensive side here. Matchco, they get themselves Back to 2-2. We had sort of not a round and a half now. And yet again, as we've seen quite a lot really tonight, as especially on map number 1 here on this game, I presume as well, and on map number 1 of our own game, Honvéd versus Good Intentions.
Protect your bombs from being defused
It's not
by
much
attackers.
separating these teams. It's always good to see. I've got a feeling we're in for a really, really spicy weekend. Of course, folks, who aren't aware of the whole Challenger Series format, this is one of these games where it's going to be quick games, one after the other, very, very quickly. And that is hugely exciting for these teams because if there's not a lot separating them, they're not going to have a lot of time to learn about each other because, fun fact, right after this match ends, you've got maybe 14 hours before your next one starts. I believe it is. Just over 14 hours before your next one starts. You've not got long because Europe, we probably want to sleep in that time. You probably might want to spend 7 hours, 8 hours in bed or so in that time. So cut it down to 6 hours. Breakfast, hopefully a shower thrown in there as well. You cut down all of that time. You cut it all down and you start to realise, hold on a minute, there's not a lot of time to prepare for tomorrow. And you've got 2 best of 3s tomorrow. And both of these teams, I believe, will be, no, not safe from elimination. The winner of this will be safe from elimination tomorrow. Can't be eliminated tomorrow no matter what. But the loser of this, if they lose both of tomorrow's games, they'll be eliminated from the competition. Which, the fall from grace. Obviously, we're up here in the 1-0 bracket at the minute. You're in the upper bracket. And if you ask me, these are 2 of the teams that I'd say are favoured to win the whole thing. They're definitely going to make playoffs. I can almost guarantee that both these teams will be in the playoffs come end of the month. Who it's going to be, too, getting through all the way, though. That one's still quite up in the air. I'm sure you've all got your own respective predictions. Well, minute in. Not a whole lot's been going on here so far. Frenchie, though, wants that changed here. Vulcan Cannons has been opened up, actually used against the defense here, forcing Frenchie back, and defense is just going a little bit worse here. Rinku. Valkyrie gets fallen down here, gets taken out. Ghost wanting to take out this main area, clear the presence. Successfully pushes Marto back just by using that utility there. The sheer presence, the sheer scare factor of that Deimos eventually does force him back, and Cow and Hives do so even further. Match go. Shaping up well now for the final half of this round here. Going to be going through. But we have to wait and see. Of course, it's going to be a pause here. They're going to want to try and find where these players are here. Still is 5 versus 4. So it's not guaranteed just yet. And now it's 4 versus 4. Making it 3 versus 4. Jax with a massive double kill. Coming on the flank up main stairs there. Unfortunately, no one on the watch for it. Seb eventually does catch Bibu and Frenchie gets taken down. And it's a total split, but it's a triple for Jax. Still alive. Does he know about the one below? No, he does not. Lolo keeps things the advantage of Matchco all on the shoulders of Marteau now. Split between the players, one left, one on his right. Does he know where? Clock is going down. They hear where Lolo is. Going to get the spray on. But you need to be cautious here. You need to be careful how you play this. The Cow and Hives are no doubt going to be raining through. Air Jab's going to be active as well here. Teb going to be using them. It seems like Matchco. The goal here is the elimination here. Of course, Kit is cold, so they're going to have to try and get this kill. And Lolo being brought down, such low HP here. A bit of a run around. Lolo is eventually down. The remaining player, where is he? You can see him through the rotation hole. Teb, Gumine stuck in his foot. Marto's just going to retreat away, recover the teammate. Brings it back to a 2 versus 1 here. Marto made it a 1 versus 1, but it's back to a 2v1 now. Can you do it? 15 seconds to hold on. 15 seconds to make do. The split approach coming in from Matchco. Teb gets fallen. And it's all down to Lolo, and he can't find it. A huge 2 versus 1 clutch up for Marto. Let's Galerians. They keep themselves up in this one. Keep themselves an even half guaranteed. As we move on to round number 6 here, Matchco, all they can do is hope to tie things up there. That is a... Wow, Marto, that is an impressive clutch up there. Who needs teammates when you can clutch up like that? Who needs teammates when you've got that kind of clutch factor? Teammates. It's a 5 versus 5 shooter. That is a kind of a given there. We head on towards round number 6. Back towards the basement here for the defense. And this one worked out decently well for them last time, Les Galerians, I believe. So they should be quite happy here. Should be quite happy with it. Be back down here, be defending it yet again. Worked for him last time. Of course, the Capcan trap dealt the final blow. I don't know if we'll see quite such craziness yet again, but you never know. This game has, of course, been a lot of A lot of craziness either way so far.
Seconds left.
So far we're delivering here. Two of the best teams in my books.
5 seconds to go. Objective is to locate a bomb
Here.
and defuse.
No. Round number
Attackers
6.
have
Final round
dropped
and a
the bomb.
half now.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Final go of it for the attack here of Matchco. Can they tie it back up? Or this Gallery is going to take sort of the expected, I suppose, 4-2 half here. Losing the drones. Matter not. Still got 8 of them remain. Matchco. What a few. Don't need any more just yet. How do they do? 30 seconds in. And already, Matchco kind of eyeing up this basement here. I think they just want to go straight in. Ghost going to hop straight in here towards filtration. They do have to be cautious of the flank. Obviously, the default camera is going to give away the push, give away the idea. So they need to make sure that flank watch is going to be good. Otherwise, Matchco are going to find themselves in a real bad sandwich that they do not want to be in right now. Debu going to be seeing the blitz charging on in. Tries to pop the Vulcan canister, but unfortunately missing the shots. It's a bloodbath elsewhere, but Les Galerians are coming out on top here. Matchco reduced down to just 2. Teb and Akwi have to bring back this 2 versus 4. Rush attempt made. Rush attempt falls flat. Vulcan canister going to be denying Marto out of sight temporarily, but Linku denies Teb his life, and Akwi falls as well. Les Galerians take a very convincing round number 6. Very convincing one indeed, and as we flip the halfway round, Les Galerians in the lead here. I'm 95% sure the frame issues are not on my end. I do apologise. I'm 95% sure they're not on my end. I do apologise.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs
OBS
as
says
they
we're
can.
fine, and I 9 times out of 10 trust OBS. 9 times out of 10 trust OBS. So we can normally trust. I say we trust OBS. The last update kind of made things funny with OBS a little bit. Although saying that, I say that I've only heard about that because my weird for using OBS through Steam. Everyone seems to think I'm weird. OBS is on Steam. It's been on Steam for maybe about a year now, and
10 seconds left.
so I've used the Steam version of OBS because I can lock my version. I've got it on like an old version because I'm an issue with something else I was trying to do. Is that weird? Maybe it's weird.
Attackers must
Should I talk about the
locate
game?
and
Should I talk
defuse
about my
the bomb.
OBS? Quite probably. Let's talk about the game instead. The Galerians 4-2 up. Of course, you read at the top of your screen now. Side's going to be flopping around, going to be going around the other way around. What do Matchco have to offer us on their defense here? Going to be starting on this top floor. Fairly standard primary bomb sort of choice. I believe it's the most popular one by throughout all of these teams, really. I like to play this top floor. You know what? Let's play. Oh, Jax takes down Akwi early on there. Wrong place, wrong time for Akwi. It's a 2-brow. Taking off the board early on. All of those Zoto canisters, all 3 of them rather, brought offline early on. That is an unfortunate start there for Matchco. The Galerians themselves another opener here so far. Now they can look to contest the rest of the map here, knowing they've got that man advantage. Of course, elsewhere, Sandora in a bit of a fight with Bibu, going to be the one coming out on top there. Breach is getting open there. Of course, amidst while fighting, you're unable to also be bandit tricking at the same time. It does tend to happen. You know, you can only be doing so many things at once. So, of course, Breach is going to be opened up, which is all right. I suppose Bibu has, of course, died. But matters not, Breach is open. You've done your job. It's 4 versus 4. It's still a decent position for the attackless Galerians to be in here. Halfway through the round now, we're going to be starting to looking to try and get the rest of these players inside the building, starting to push. Because you can see there, Ghost and Teb, they're still quite open. They're still quite a large hold of the map. Got a lot of control. And that needs to be removed from them, really, before Les Galerians can start to eye up this objective and how they want to make this final execute come through. Frenchie can be charging in for operations. Knows it's free, knows it's open. Of course, Bulletproof Camera going to give away the game, so he can't just blindly run in there. We'll check it. Ghost is up there, playing on mezzanine. No players present. And it's a C4 from Teb to find Marteau. It's the presence of Matchco. Does not really want to be shaken at all, really. Lolo denying out position there with Toxic Babes. Outside. Jack's in the courtyard. Wants to go in towards the objective, but can't until the teammates are in position, really. You can't just twiddle in your thumbs there for the next couple of seconds until the remaining two members of Les Galerians can get themselves into a position to push this objective. Of course, Matchco still looking to contest mezzanine. Frenchie looking to challenge that one right on back. For the time being, it seems like a little bit of a stall out, but I don't reckon that's going to last long there. Flashbang's coming through. Linku is on the flank. Do Matchco have any idea? Yes, they do. There's a flank watch behind, but their flank watch does not have a flank watch as Frenchie finds one back. But look, 15 seconds to go. You have to go for the kills here, and it's a C4 to keep the game wide open here. Jax has to charge in. The remaining two players of Matchco are on low HP. Has the idea of one, finds him, but can you find the last? Gets the team kill, but no time to do any more than that. No, the player's prone. Matchco take the round. Get ever so close to tying things back up here. Little bit closer. Just a little bit. 3-4 now. Only around between these two. Good start. Oh, I say good start there. Match goes quite a bit of a shaky round, certainly. But huge hero plays over towards that mezzanine side, towards those sort of rocket stairs. They hold on to the top floor successfully. They get to move themselves down in towards that basement now, down below. See what they can do. If they're going to be able to do it. Of course, what we're asking of them. Yeah, round number 8. I mean, so far, that was good defense from Matchco. They're really sort of unshaken throughout that entire hold, throughout that top floor. Obviously, top floor being the site, but the extended hold around the room surrounding the objective. That's what more concerned me for the side of Les Galerians. Really unable to shake the players, despite having operators like the Grim on the board that are built for pushing those players out of those positions. Not able to use them. And that cost Les Galerians quite a bit there. And meant that they ended up they're pushing there with a couple seconds left to go, and maybe 2-3 seconds more. That one may have been a clutch up. We may have been having a little bit of a different story, but it was not to be. Round number 6, round number 7 went the way of Matchco, and they'll be looking to continue that streak on here. Tie back up the game 4 apiece. Round number 8, what do we hold for us? Well, lineups wise, not looking to anything crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary. Jack's going to be moved on towards that Montaigne, on towards the shield. Of course, looking to immediately apply in towards warehouse, send the shield in. FNAT mine is temporarily going to stall out, likely going to have to be shot at by a teammate, but you can ping the bulletproof camera, I believe that is over there. Of course, going to be spotting out the players of the attack, giving Matchco the idea where this push might possibly be coming from. You can see the amount of players here from Les Galerians out towards this warehouse side. Frag grenade's going to be going in, bounced off the side. Sandora. You relocate some of these FNAT mines, relocates those charges, of course, to more applicable positions as where this push is coming from. Because as you can see from Les Galerians, right now it's looking relatively one-sided here. Warehouse obviously being the main emphasis of this push, not really playing too much go at this vertical game, instead of looking at just pushing the site directly. Valid strategy, valid idea. But it all lies in the execution. How does this one go from all angles? Well, the execution got off to a great start there, as Frenchie's going to be the first one to fall there to Sandora. Giving Matchco an early start in this round here. 5 versus 4. Make a good then, make a good start on things. Ibu charging on through now towards lockers. Has a visibility into the site here, but has to be careful where you peek with this Cowan Hive in that launcher in hand, because if you swing at the wrong time, you're going to get your head taken off without a gun in your hand to do anything back about it. Matchco, they'll be more than happy to play this game here. Sort of slow down here from Les Galerians. 5 versus 4, they've got the man advantage. They've even managed to slip players above here. You can see Lolo's all the way upstairs in the tippy top floor. Keb as well, playing above. They're quite happy to play this game. They don't seem too uncomfortable right now. Matchco, Les Galerians really having to work to get anything going here. You see Marto is above, trying to hunt, as will Jax be sent up there. But it's the time being left at this point, really. You do have to wonder, what can Les Galerians get going with the clock, really? Jax is outside staring into space. Gonna hop down now, but it's just going from bad to worse. Just not able to get in at all here, really, Les Galerians. Matchco locking them out of the building there. Double for Sandora, making a triple in the round, and it's all on Bibu. 9 seconds to go, and unfortunately, I don't think Bibu, as great a player as he is going to clutch this up. No, he's not. Lolo's going to take him down, and a flawless round for Matchco, as we are back where we started, with a tied scoreline, 4 apiece here on Lair. Matchco's defense so far. First one, second one, looking a hell of a lot better than it did. Going to be moving towards that first floor tertiary bomb site, Bunk's briefing. Good Matchco so far. Definitely fighting their way back into this one here on the defensive side. And you have to wonder if the 2 attacks that the Scalarians let of Matchco slip in, that's what's going to cost them at the end of it. You have to wonder. Of course, here so far, proving to be he's a little bit more defender-sided overall. We're 6-2 at the minute, as we know, as I said earlier on. There are no stats to pull. We are the stats. 6-2 so far, favoured for the defense. 75% defensive win rate so far on Lair. Of course, very small sample size, so don't quote it on being very accurate, because it's a very, very small sample size. It's not. At least so far, this matchup, it is being a very much strong defensive stronghold. Strong defensive stronghold? That's a lot of strong. A very much defensive stronghold Lair.
5 seconds to go.
Proving to be difficult here for the teams to breach through on their attack, struggling quite a lot across the whole thing. Head in towards now round number 9 here. One of these teams is going to cement themselves lead in this one. Who it's going to be? Well, that lies now in this round. Matchco? I'd obviously put the emphasis, or the onus on them rather, of course, taking the lead here. They're on the defensive side. It is their tertiary bomb site though, so if there's a round for the Scalarians to get over the line on their attack, it's now or never really. This is the important one. Otherwise, I'd start to worry a little bit. Matchco, this is the proving grounds. This is the one to prove that you have what it takes to take Lair, and obviously in regulation here. The Scalarians, 2 attacks is all they need, both tertiary bomb sites, and they'll get themselves into overtime, where presumably, I'm not sure who's going to be starting. I'm not sure what the overtime sides are for this one, being honest. I'd presume it'd be Matchco on defense on overtime, which of course has problems of its own. Or this is very good for Matchco. So the Scalarians need to be sure not only can they get the tertiary bomb sites over the line, but also they need to make sure they're getting one of these primary or secondary bomb sites across the board. And to do so, this Montaigne's going to need to have some impact. Unfortunately, going to be stalled out temporarily by those smoke grenades there. Forced back. Look at there, 4 players on the top floor here. The vertical is crucial on this objective, which is, I think part of the reason why teams like it so much, because it's like you're defending top floor almost, but you do have that secondary fallback should you need it. Doesn't mean you've got a lot more ground to cover, but it's the closest thing you can get to defending that top floor without actually being able to defend it. Of course, being blocked for this round. Bibu, flying pressure using these grim hives here, but it's being stalled out yet again by these smoke grenades. Lolo, up inside of storage in the vault. C4's going to be thrown, not quite going to hit its mark here. See Temp, cautious of the vertical from down below. But Lolo's just going to remain inside of this storage position here, not really shuffling away from it. It's spotted out, but he's not phased by it in the slightest. Wants to contest, wants to try and get these kills. And look at the clock. Look at how much time is being wasted up here by Matchco. Let's Galarians really struggling with this one. Lolo swings out with the shotgun. Acqui tag teams onto it. Takes down Bibu. Linku does answer back on Sandora. But with 4 versus 4 now. Vertical being used here against the attack. They've gotten themselves into the objective. But the defense, they should be able to hold on to this one, right? Kit is seemingly going to be going down here, and now here comes a disaster. Here comes a retake required from Matchco. Maybe a bit too much on that top floor here, because less Galarians can just play it from outside. And there you go. Marto finally balling there. 2 players Matchco chasing, do take it, but look at it. Yet again, it's that clock running away from them, really, here. They want to try and get this defuse down here. There's one on the external breach. Acqui finds another for his troubles. Pep on the watch, unable to hold it for too much longer, but it's a triple for Acqui, a huge triple at that. Leaves it all down to Linku, and the defuse is just going to be stuck, and it's going to be Matchco taking the lead in this series. 3 rounds in a row. Defense so far looking impenetrable, and they get themselves the lead for the first time in quite a while here on Lair. And not only that, they pull themselves 2 rounds away from taking the series. Let's Galarians. I think a good call to make it there. You've had a full site rotation. You've seen everything that Matchco have to offer, or at least their first strategy go of it. You've seen what they have to offer. Now you have to look at how do you change what you're doing, because right now, you're 2 rounds away from dropping down It's not the spot you want to be in for Matchco. Couldn't be happier with that one. You got what you sort of needed, I feel, 4-2 is expected here on Lair. Got what you needed, and now you're working the defensive half. You're working it to the full extent of things. As you can see, look at how well it's working for them. Matchco 3 in a row. All 3 different win conditions, actually. Time, kills, and then counter defusing on the timeline there. As we head in towards round number 10. Double digits now for the third and final map of tonight. Don't worry. Plenty more action coming your way within
Attackers need to locate and defuse
within a
as fast
whole
as they can.
12 hours, just under. Back to those. So, plenty of action. Gonna be a busy weekend for any Siege fans. I believe NA starts as well, South America starts as well this weekend. There's a lot going on. Very quickly as well. Speeding through everything, and thank you to everyone who is stopping in. I don't know the number exact, but I imagine there's still quite a few of you lurking around here. Obviously, last game of the day. So thank you all for staying up. Obviously, getting later for a lot of you now as well. So we head towards evening, leave 10:30 for most of Europe now.
10 seconds remaining.
So, for those who are hanging around, everyone enjoying the game, enjoying the stream. As you can tell, can't tell I'm tired. Might be showing through a little bit.
Attackers are heading out to
But
defuse
we're
a
giving it
bomb.
all. We're having a good bit of fun with it anyway. I mean, Matchco, they're putting on a good show for us so far. A bit of a Lair masterclass on the defense and trying a bit of everything. Thinking there, one person at the table who like double dip their tortilla in every single sauce, like that different sauce that's available. Like, oh yeah, let's take a bit of kills this round. What about we take a bit of counter defuse this round? What about we take a bit of time on this one? They're just exploring all the win conditions here, working out what one they feel works best for them. Les Galerians, they want to be doing the same here, but of course the other way around. On their attack, of course, the fuse from the last time attempt made, not successful through. So of course, they're going to need to be trying to make sure they can get the kit down and make sure it sticks all the way through this time, and that's a good start there. Akwi going to be the first one to fall there. Currently leading the elimination game over on the side of Matchco, 10-6 as of now. After that one, good start there for the round for Les Galerians. But it's immediately answered back by Teb, who takes down Marteau. We're back to a 4 versus 4 point. Yet again, even in the board, even on the score count. Here for this round, Frenchie going to be ironed up. Iron up. Rainfall here. Pyramid are going to be just punched out just so it can't be used against them, as Teb has no choice there but to retreat. Ghost upstairs, though, is going to be taken down. Who blinds himself, but it doesn't really matter because guess what? You've taken down the team enemy. You've got yourself that advantage yet again. Teb can see the player there playing behind the Ossa shield. Jack's more than happy to sort of play in this position, hide behind it. Pandora here, in a bit of an interesting spot around reception. It's quite a vulnerable spot, rather. But maybe able to make something work from it. Of course, a bit of an off position here. As you can see, Escalarians are also quite split apart, really, there. Bibu, good work on the vertical to get that mirror window open there. Going to give Jax a bit more control over there, a bit more pressure that can be applied in towards that objective. And look at that. Edging closer and closer towards the objective now. Frenchie's coming up to support here. Escalarians, this has the telltale signs of they're starting to eye up this defuse here. They're starting to eye up how they want to get this kit down, but they need to take down these Yokai drones for us. Sandora has them still active, and as long as he's alive with them in pocket, he is going to be able to make it happen, make some magic go through. Lolo's going to be throwing toxic babes yet again, stalling out this plant for a little bit longer. Does a bit of damage onto Frenchie as well. You'll take what you can get at this point. Going to have a little bit of pass the parcel here. Jax is going to be attempting it here behind the shield. Diffuse is going down. Linku trying to hold down the flank, but he's unable to do so. Teb supports, and this is what the Yokai drones are for, but they're missing the mark. Oh no! Catastrophe over on the side of Matchco there. It's going to be stuck down regardless, though. Jax is going to fall. And, well, utility might not be where it needed to be, but the kills, at least now, certainly are due, as Lotto finds another in this round, all on the shoulders of Bibu. Playing up from above, finds one on the vertical here. Just has to try and stick the time here. Sees the feet of the player defusing, but I don't know if they're going to find it in time. No, he will not, and it's going to be stuck through. Matchco come out of the Escalarians tactical timeout with a win with a huge round, and they propel themselves up. They propel themselves. Ooh, replay. Hello. Didn't know we had these. We've got replays now. This is awesome. How long have we had these for?
Defenders disable the diffuser.
Yay, replay. I think it's... Where'd that come from? I didn't know we had replays. That caught me off guard. Hebby, what are you
Attackers
cooking up
need to
over there? I
locate
believe
and
it's
defuse as
game
many
from
bombs as they
Hebby. Not 95% sure it is. When did we get the replays? Where did we get the replays from? That's what I want to know. I'm really curious by. Yeah, it's Heavy. This is Heavy's feed. Isn't that awesome? Replays. Go on, Tebby. We're going to give some love to Tebby, who is our observer for this one as well. Anyway, match go. Up 6-4 now. Map series point. Final defensive round, and I think the issue here for the side of Les Galerians is we're heading to what's typically considered to be the strongest defensive site here on Blair. That, of course, being this R6 operation.
objective is to locate a
Room at the
bomb
top,
and
I believe
defuse
it is. I should really know these Blair. I've not played enough Blair. I've not played enough of this game lately. I've been playing quite I've been either casting and or observing. Play this game different. It's a fun game. I mean, I'm assuming you all know it's a fun game, or otherwise you wouldn't be here. It's kind of a given. Enjoy a bit of Rainbow Six Siege. That's the deal, hopefully. If you hate Siege, why is my first question. And question that Les Galerians might be asking is how do we crack this match code defense? So far, been unsuccessful to do so. Really struggled with it as of now, as at the start, and now they've got to find themselves 2 rounds in a row here. Match code. And this is arguably the biggest hurdle ahead of them. Next one's tertiary bomb site. It was close for Les Galerians last time, so I'm not going to say no, they can't do it. This is the hurdle here, and this is the massive one that they're going to have to get over in the next 2 minutes or so. Or otherwise, they're going to be going in towards tomorrow, in towards that lower bracket, or that middle bracket rather, tomorrow. And that's not where you want to be. You kind of want to be in this sort of, in the upper side of the bracket, really.
Reloading.
You don't want to be down below in that lower half. That's not where you want to be. Obviously, you can qualify off the back of tomorrow as well. That's the big deal here. Obviously, either of these teams will still have the shot of doing so in the 1-1 bracket. But of course, equally for whoever loses this, they have that equal possibility of being in the 1-1 bracket of going home if they lose both their games tomorrow. So,